Islam Moors, happy holy day, and welcome to the House of Reawakening Minds. On this particular, I'm really happy today that we have with us none other than Dr. Hannibal Bey. Let's receive him.
I titled this class, There Is Much More to Being More-ish. That needed to be stated. That was an old statement that I used to say when people would come and see me and Father teach at Roundtable. And it has great importance because a lot of the information you Moors are getting is just jurisprudence that you're working on. And a lot of the historical and mainly spiritual work is not being embraced and utilized. So I want to make you aware of quite a few things that you can utilize in what you're doing. One brief point, I'm going to touch on history because I want to utilize this time because there's some demonstrations I want to kind of do and then try to teach you some skills and some things. Again, before I go any further, I want to give my blessings and appreciation to elders. Some of you may not have heard of, and some of you may, just to give them respect and to remind those who are the detractors out there that remember, you're talking a lot of mess about my father, His Grace, the Amir, Taj Tariq Atib Bey, and also me, Patriarch, Dr. Hannibal Bey. Know this, a lot of the knowledge that you are gleaning now is from work that we have put out, that we had to deal with a lot of negativity from both sides, the unconscious as well as the so-called conscious. But remember this, you're never as great as the ancestors that came before you. Know this, that you're standing on the shoulders of giants that came before you, and I am one of them. And for some of you, right, Mother, who are talking mess about my father, you know darn well you would not have had the knowledge that you had it not been from us. And we had to take a lot of crap to give you the truth and to give you a lot of sacred information. But know this, stop looking down upon the people and talking hoity. Again, you're standing on the shoulders of juggernauts, of giants that were there before you. Some of us are still living. You always give respect to the elders. I had to state that because, again, this niggerosity is getting out of hand. All right. The Holy Court of Beth is one of the ancient texts, scriptures that existed before the Bible and the Quran. This will be a book that will most likely be given to y'all once I'm able to print it up. All right. This was the book that was burnt during the Christian Crusades as works of the devil. This is also the source, like I said, of the Bible and the Quran. I didn't want to. Mine is kind of tattered, but this is generally what the Holy Court of Beth looked like. This is the book of your Magi's. Like I say to you Moors, you know the history of Christianity, and then you know the history of Islam. But know in the Christian Crusade or the history of you Moors, you know you're very ancient. Looking at the time frame of the Christian Crusades, you know that they were burning and killing the Moors. And remember, they weren't Muslims then. I'm telling you who they were. They were what you would call us Magi. Our creed name is Hittite. It only means the knowledgeable people of the Creator. The outsiders of our faith called us the king priests, the wise men, or the Magi. This is why we were the first to give respect to the baby Jesus. Matter of fact, we told the people he was going to come. That's why we were the first there to give him respect. You are the original Jews. all right, or we are the original Jews. The symbol of the six-pointed star actually represented us Hittians. This was our symbol. We were also a holy priest order, just as well as a great tribe. So when you hear the interchangeable term of Moor or Israelite, that's you, the children of Israel. So when you come across a Hebrew Israelite and they say, oh yeah, we're Hebrew Israelite, you tell them they're Moor, you just tell them, brother, there's no dissension between us. You're saying you know we're Moors. Remember, Yaqub was Yaqub. It was Yaqub Kokashis Koshaitis. Yaqub was a Lemurian. And when he completed his experiment, his father, Mordua, came ill, said, you had made such a beautiful bouquet of people, I will now change your name to Israel. And your children shall be the children of Israel. Get it? So we always try to make things simple for you. And it's a shame because people go to war over stupid crap. But anyway, this symbol was a symbol that represented the God power that the Creator had gave us. The Creator had said, I created you. Basically you're all gods. The Creator is not God. Know that the Creator creates everything. And he says, everything that I create outside of me is God. You're a God, the only God, and there's only one of you. Even if you were to have a twin or a triplet or what have you. All right? We're the only faith that there are prescribed rituals that if you carry it out properly, you can become an immortal. There is one book, and time goes on, and this is well received, and Dr. Nala will have me come back. There's books I will eventually read directly from, and you'll probably get it. But there's higher sacred more pieces. There is one that I had divulged to two of my students, and I read to them. It's called The Other Side, and it's written by an ascended master who followed our faith. His name was Homak Po. Our faith, to give you a little time frame there, we're about 6.5 to 7,000 years old. All right? And being this far in the more science, you already know that the European messed with the time. All right? So anyway, lost my thought. What was I saying? Oh, the other side. Yeah, The Other Side. Homak Po's book, he was the only ascended master who ever wrote a book on how it is to be a god. And he is still alive today. All right? And like I said, there are rituals. And some of the stuff is out in public, but what you get is a watered down version of it, or others will try to divert you and say, oh, June the 21st, when the Freemasons and all get together, that's devil worshiping and what have you. Let me say this to you because I want to clear a lot of things up. Know this, and this is the easy way to identify. Those who are in the circles like me, or magi, grand priests, such as I, or you'll say rabbis or whatever, know that there's only two paths. One is called the right-hand path. One is called the left-hand path. You already know what right represents. Left-hand path means those you would say Satanists or what have you. All right? But know this. God's power and energy is unified. Because one day I'm going to be able to go into the actual science of this, because we have a book that goes into breaking this down. That represents the God power. The Creator said, my power is one. All right? Kind of like this. You can't have an atom without the positive, the proton and neutron. And any scientist will tell you if you remove the neutron and you just got the proton, you're going to make an unstable atom. So you're going to have to understand that the positive and negative energy is a third power which we teach, and it's called Peiru. Peiru is the energy that is the actual extreme point that binds the two together, the positive and negative energy. When you're coming through our ancient science, you're learning to be the Peiru. I'm going to give you also tonight the actual power chance to augment your own spiritual power. This is something you're going to do every day for the rest of your life, or unless you follow the prescribed rituals and you become an immortal. You don't ever have to do it no more. But this will also be utilized depending on whatever you do. Say suppose you might do a sermon or what have you. Always just, it'll bring up your personal energy. So I'm going to talk about that tonight. And again, I'm going to give you tools to utilize. Because when you're dealing with these people out here, whether it's positive or negative, you need to have your energy raised. For example, usually when I go places and a lot of people say, oh, I like the way, your vibe, the way you carry yourself, yada, yada, yada. Well, I'm going to give you the tools, what I use before I step out the door. I'm going to give you these tools. And these are tools that usually would be in the sacred schools. Freemasonry, you had a chamber, yada, yada. I'm giving it to you because of what time it is. I was going to possibly not have some things recorded, but I think I'm just going to let everything roll. But tonight I want to leave you with, like I said, energies, rituals that you can augment your energy, and some things on how you can influence individuals. I was just telling the brother a little earlier, some of you have seen me that I came here before and I told you to look up certain people. One of them was Darren Brown. All right, that's going to go into the subject of what I have here, I have a little schedule here, power words. But I'm going to finish up with the history so I can go into the 7 spiritual laws, which you all should be aware of. And then I'm going to go into the 7 suggestible laws, and I'm going to start showing demonstrations, because my key thing is to show you words have power. And I'm going to give you the basic tools. It's no different than if we all saying we're bodybuilders, and you saying I want to go and be in the Miss Universe or the Mr. Universe bodybuilding contest. And you can say, all right, but you just can't often do that right now, but you're going to have to put that down the line like 4 or 5 years from now. Kind of like the Olympic individuals, they want to go to the Olympics, but they know they got to train real hard for 4 years or so. So then all I'm saying is I'm going to be like that coach that give you the reps. Well, you got to do 100 reps, this, that, and what have you. And again, you'll slowly see the change. You'll slowly see the change. And again, it's going to depend on you from this point on. If you want more that I will give you. There's one student that's some of the things I was explaining before we started class. I actually gave him the basics of that ritual. He did it with his family. And this brother's family is happy and they are doing certain things. I'm like, wow, good 20-something years. That's the first time I actually had one of my students in my real small cipher that I had, my golden cipher, that actually went and moved on. He just went from my basic instructions and he's utilized it. But like I said, I want to do that with y'all today, if you allow me. And I pray that it will help benefit, and especially those who may view this too. And then you will take this science and utilize it. Plus, I want to give you some others, because again, everybody else is using your science. They're getting wealthy off of, like Father would say, off your virtues. It's time for you to start grabbing that energy. The astral energy is out there. It's around you right now. Mm-hmm. What I'm going to show you basically is that old saying that focused thought can change. Dr. Nyla can probably testify to this. She's a woman of the cloth. And usually there are classes that when they get to a certain level, it's not only in Christianity, but Islam too. When a preacher wants to get to the level of like T.D. Jakes and all them, they give it nickname classes. Well, one of the names they might say hooping class, but they got to pay tens of thousands of dollars to learn how to sway an audience. They got to pay that money. And I'm going to give you this. I'm going to give you power words. So whenever you then, from this point on, you're dealing with your legal briefs, you want to throw some words in, because there's certain words that do have a hypnotic effect. One phrase that is hypnotic is once upon a time. But I'm going to give you that. I know I'm jumping a little bit. Let me go through the 7 laws, and you all should be aware of it. This was a science information that it was us, my father and myself, actually me, that discovered this as a teenager in the 80s. And it was from the book called the Kai Valley, and this is what they call the Masonic book. This book broke down your 7 laws, universal laws, that is being utilized. The first law is mind. In mind, all is mind. Everything is energy. The universe is mental. Know that. All is mind. Even that chair that you're sitting in, it was first a thought in someone's mind before they crafted it in hand. Same thing for a woman to carry the baby in the womb. Everything is thought. And that is going to be one of the main messages you're going to get once I'm able to start printing up more of the Holy Corvette for y'all. What's that? The Holy? Great. And it's in paperback. All right. So be familiar with that. Know all thing is mine. And I'm going to try to make this as simple as possible and to make it really, that you can really get this and utilize this. Because the sooner you get this, the quicker whatever you're dealing with, you can overcome some of your problems. And I know the other part is a lot of these individuals call themselves nationalizing, they are not getting rid of the Negro mentality. Yes, I'm talking to y'all out there. Those who are ignorant. I ain't say ignorant, ignorant. That's what a lot of these problems are coming from. I can tell y'all some stories. So again, that's the first law. Be aware of that. All things is mine. The next one is correspondence, meaning as above, so below. As below, so above. Now, I'm going to stop on that because I'm going to backtrack when I was trying to tell you about the holy days. When I said how there's so people are quick to say, oh yeah, June 1st, or these certain days that, the Freemasons, Illuminati, and they do these rituals. Well, let me tell you and make you very much aware of your 8 holy days of the year. There are 4 low holy days, and there are 4 high holy days. These are your ancient Moorish holy days, and then I'm going to tell you what they were used for, and then I'm going to give you secrets on what was being done. Your low holy days are the days that the seasons change. So you got what you call your Lemurian New Year, or you say your Moorish New Year is coming up March 21st or so. Yes. All right? Now, don't go off of what you hear everyone say, oh, that's because the devil, and because they do their rituals, and know this, I'm trying to tell you, positive and negative go hand in hand. When I get done going through these days, it's going to make sense to you. Again, you're not going to have positive and negative not going to be too far from behind. Know that also. Trusting that you're the good cherubs that will get this information and you will shine. But always know that negativity is not far behind. That's just nature. The key thing is I want to give you tools, just as well as other things you learned from my father, to be able to bind that negativity. To the point, if you're powerful enough, you'll be able to shut down your enemies. All right? So, March 21st is a low holy day. This is what was really done in your ancient Magi rituals. Now, this is sacred stuff I'm telling you that others won't tell you. Only those higher degrees know this, and they get pissed. I don't care. Now, say suppose this is one of our Magi temples. The way we had it was, there's a ritual called Novo. Some may say spiritual travel and whatever. That's a Lemurian word for basically releasing your spirit and blending it with all creation. And you would do it on those particular days, because those days are the days that the Creator's energy is very heightened upon the earth. And if you blend with it, and by the end of the ritual, your spiritual strength gets stronger, and it also affects your physical strength. This is why you see a lot of your brothers in Egyptology, they were all talking about being gods. I just told you about Homak. Oh, he is still alive. He's the only ascended master that ever wrote a book on how to become an immortal. But you can only get that book through our sacred orders. So, when you come to the temple, we would, it's a sacred place, so we would communicate by signs. I hadn't mastered that myself, but this is one of our Lemurian ways, because you're going to commune with the Creator. And we would have lines going on down the street, and it'll be one seat that would be like a throne. And the way we would construct the temple, it would be a crystal pyramid from the roof. And it would symbolize you possibly will get like a minute or two to sit in the throne to commune or to have that novel with the Creator. And when you do these rituals on these holy days and continue it and other certain things, I'm going to tell you about the symbols, because there's 3 other symbols that was used in our faith. We actually have 7 symbols, but some of them are universal that you see. The Ankh is one of them. The Ankh is one of them. Yes.
Islam. Before we get too far, a question has come up. Will you be taking questions tonight, or is this just lecture?
I probably will. I just want to kind of keep on schedule because I want to do the demonstration. I know I was going to cut some things, but I'm just going to let it roll because I'm appreciative you let me come here to share, and I'm blessed. I got family here, came to see, and extended fam. So
they can put their questions out here, and if we have a chance, I will moderate those questions. All right, thank you.
Like I was saying, once you commune with the Creator, you do this ritual, and there's actually 7 paths in our priesthood that, 7, if you follow one, and there's 7 sacred places upon the earth. And if you were to have one of these symbols following this particular path, you have to go to a particular place out of the Holy 7. And majority of those 7, 4 of them on this landmass. Everybody keeps trying to tell you Africa is the whole land. No, this is, when you came here on this planet, you touched here. Matter of fact, if any of you can backtrack on some old video interviews I did that kind of fill in some holes, but I'll touch on that a little bit. What the Holy Corvette's going to tell you about, but I'm going to finish this. When you would go to these certain sacred places upon the planet, and with that symbol, and you do the ritual, and if it's done right, there is a dimensional door that would open. Once that door opens, only you can walk through. And I don't know what's on the other side, but all I know is that when you come back from that, you're immortal. We can't kill you. We can stand there all day and shoot a gun at you, try to blow you up, put poison on you, you won't die. I can explain that to you if it's enough time tonight, but I know a lot of times what you brothers and sisters don't get. Sometimes when it's over, we still have conversations, so we'll see. But anyway, this was the goal for all of us, and this is what your ancestors had actually known, that you're God. The Creator actually said, "I've made you to live 1,000 years. You choose not to even live a 10th of it." That's the Creator. Trying to open your minds when you're looking at the story of Woden, Odin, and Thor. You're looking at your ancestors. When they talk about them gods, remember now, you already know the truth is more. You know you're the children of Lemurian. And every time you keep saying, you already know the whitewashing. No Zeus going to look like somebody. Come on, man. Odin and Thor, hey, come on. Trying to open your mind to let you know. They're talking about you. They're talking about you. You are the gods. You're the sleeping giants. And again, like I said, I want to try to do a demo to show you your own personal powers that y'all have. And you're going to really wonder why nobody don't want you to wake up. And if things are done right, you're going to be like, yeah, it makes sense. I'm trying to tell you, or lead you to saying that y'all are the battery in the matrix. The reason why Todd, me, or whoever else trying to wake you up, like the Morpheus and Neo, wake you up and what have you, you're one less energy put into the system. Put it like this, I was talking with, got me here a little late, I was talking to Dr. Nala's husband, and we were talking about the image that the European has, and he was saying how they don't want us to be scientists and what have you. I said, look, you're a divine people. That which is holy cannot be, that which is divine cannot be wholly suppressed. I said, you can leave us alone and we'll wake up. Case in point, who's familiar with George Washington Carver? And a lot of time they only talk about him about the peanuts. But here's my point. Remember now, this man was born into slavery. And slavery ended. Wasn't he supposed to be, yes, master, I was, because, you know, he just go, I don't know, master. No, that man was a great scientist. Y'all only know him for the peanut. I was telling the sister's husband that he was a basketball player that was also in the Navy. He played for the Spurs. His name. Yeah. He opened a museum giving honor to this man. And he said that the actual parts to a car, you strip away majority of the stuff that George Washington Carver's inventions contribute to, you barely gonna have a car left. He even proved that Rockefeller and Ford tried to get him to work for him. He said no. So I'm only bringing him up to say this, and I'm trusting you get it. The man got released from slavery, but yet he was a great scientist. So I'm going back to what I told the sister, husband. If you just leave us alone, we'll wake up. See, you're the newer generation. I was small in the 70s. I was there when people was like, yeah, man, like how pits and stuff, yeah. They were scared, yeah. When you waking up, why? You start putting processes in your hair, and you had afros. You letting your hair grow out natural. And you started having you started waking up. Now, to us Moors, we tell you, you just turn over your sleep, but it was enough to scare these Europeans. Now, here's the old story, even though his godfather stole, and he kind of denied it. They asked, well, did you get paid to make that song? I'm proud. Say that. All that was a massive hypnotic spell to put your uncle back to sleep. I'm going to go into that, and I'm going to teach you the basics of what these Europeans, what I said earlier. Some of you weren't here, and I was kind of going over some of the subjects I'm going to talk about tonight. They call it hypnosis, or black ops hypnosis. I'm going to give you the basics of this because you're being influenced. You'd be very surprised when I wake you up and I give you some of the sciences. That you knew this science, you called it Maya. To us, it is over 10,000 years old. Our version of hypnosis is different. We train the mind, and we ain't got to say a word and we can influence them. The Europeans use words and they rediscovered it. Remember, because there's nothing new under the sun, only that which is hidden. Remember that phrase. A lot of the sciences and things that you're dealing with, Europeans are just rediscovering. I keep telling people, like I just got to peep at the Black Panther at the sister's house. And I'm looking at the technology and everything, and we're like, wow, great technology. And I'm telling the doctor, I said, our people don't know, only those who really waken, they are using Euro-Lemurian science. Why do you think they got an Area 51? They're pulling up your old technology that had been buried. And then they're reverse engineering it. I told a few students to get a book called The Cave of the Ancients, and I think someone told me by way of live chat. I'm going to touch on that real quick, then I'm going to get back to my lesson. The reason why I say get that book, and I want you to see it, The Cave of the Ancients by T. Lapsang Rampa. He was a Tibetan monk, and it was time for him to go to his next level. And part of the ritual is they just tell him they're going to collect herbs. But what he discovers is he's about to be inducted in being one of the caretakers of ancient technology. Here they wind up taking him to a cave that had your old ancestors' technology that was sitting up in them caves. We talking computed all kind of stuff you could think of for tens of thousands of years. He described how he walked up to a podium, and it's funny because we're the generation of the Star Trek, and we see now we're doing this stuff like this is the pilot in the hand, we watch, Captain Kirk with his, Scotty, please feed me up. Now here we're talking to each other. But this is your old Lemurian science. So anyway, T. Lab saying Grandpa said he walked up to a platform, and all of a sudden, a movie projector would just shoot you a movie right in midair. And it was your ancestors, your Lemurian ancestors. This was a message that they basically were saying. Again, I always keep saying, stop blaming the European for everything. You were trying to blow your damn selves up before you even created the European. They said we had 7 great Lemurian nations, and we were about to blow ourselves up. So what the great scientists agreed among themselves were, they said, well, let us take all the great technology that we had and hide it away. So we got 7 key places on this planet that your old technology is hidden. All right, so anyway, they said, we don't want you to fall in our folly. If anyone's going to survive this, if we're going to blow ourselves up or whatever, we want you to pick up from where we left off, but do not fall in our folly. So then he said it was another pictograph that came up, and it was just like a movie, but it was in midair. You didn't need a back screen or what have you. And again, all of us are seeing the technology that they're putting in your face now. You're seeing in the movies with the Tony Stark and all of them and what have you. And we was looking at what's the name, they're projecting it. That's you. But here was your other technology that they trying to get. This is why they were synthesizing melanin in the 90s. Case in point, there was a war the Europeans had in India, and they could not find out, the Europeans couldn't figure out why they was warring with one side of India, and then all of a sudden, on the other side of India, they was like, how the hell they got this information? Well, guess what? Telepathy was one of your old sciences. And it took a while for the Europeans to figure that out. They were communicating like it ain't nothing. Even if everybody couldn't do it, there was at least someone in the village that got the telepathic information from another one. Hey, they warring over here, so let's get ready. Europeans couldn't figure it out, but you look in history, you'll see that. These are some of the sciences and things that people will come to round table when we give you, and this is some of the things I want to introduce you to. I have to keep the stuff condensed because it's just so much. A lot of the information you got was books and research that my father had put up, but I still have a lot that hadn't been printed up yet. You know what I mean? That still needed to be put out. This is one of the books I talked earlier for those who came a little late. This is the book, the Holy Korbeth, that proceeded as the source of the Bible. It is the source of the Quran. Like I said to you earlier, pull up my old radio interviews and you will hear that I would tell you some of the history that the Holy Korbeth is telling you. I tell you that you were a very ancient people. Now, the Lamb used to say this. Some of you probably say, who the Lamb? Lamb was the code name we said for Grand Sheikh Elijah Bey, who was known as the Lamb, Elijah Muhammad, that great brother, and blessing, peace be unto him. But he used to always say this. He said, you Asiatic man, you have no birth records. And when he would talk about the starship, mothership, people didn't want to hear that. But when Europeans talk about it, then you want to hear it, then you want to pay. Well, let me tell you in short that I said in the radio interview, and as soon as time goes on, you will have the Holy Korbeth and you will read it yourself. You came from another planet. The story of Superman, that's you. No, it was Ashkenazi Jews who wrote that, who so-called created that character. So what I'm about to tell you is going to sound very familiar. But I keep telling y'all, Europeans getting a great laugh at y'all because they keep putting your stuff right in your face and they laugh. What's Superman's real name? Thank you, because you're conscious Moors. A lot of people are like, yeah, Clark Kent, man. Yeah, Clark Kent. No, Kal-El, they put it right in your face. Put it right in your face. You just stupid. Kal-El. Now, your home planet was called Aden. You left it before it blew up. The captain of the ship was named Yohat. He was a Lemurian. And he was a religious man, but also a scientist. And he built a ship, and he gathered about a good 3,000 or so individuals. Key people that could help colonize a new world. Now, I want to also, before I go any little further, I want you to know about this planet real quick. In the other galaxies of our other life forms, we didn't believe in killing people as punishment. We always believed in exile. So the planet Earth was actually used as a prison by all dregs of societies and different civilizations. So by the time your ancestors got here, about a good 7 million years ago or so, when I get up to the point when our ancestors left and they came here, they stayed in the mothership for a long while. Meanwhile, there was a scientist that was an Amagian. The Amagian nation is actually the father nation of us Lemurians, because we are the children of Lemurians. Everybody else knows this. You need to know this. When I'm saying everybody else, I'm saying those who grab books on different things on the Wiccans and all that, the witches, they know that they'll say it in code name. They call you the God race, or they'll just say straight out the Lemurians. All right. So anyway, when I got initiated to the priesthood, I was like, man, a lot of these people, Ray Bradbury and everybody, had to have had their hands on this to come up with Star Trek. Because again, when I say this, some of you who are Trekkies, you're going to be like, I kind of sound familiar with Captain Kirk and them, we go where no man has gone before, and then when they go to different civilization planets, they can't intermingle with them, they can't leave certain technologies and stuff. I'm like, man, damn. So anyway, when you got here, Yohad realized that the planet had like a big smog over it. So those individuals who were living here, they didn't have God in their heart. They were dregs of society, so they damn near blew themselves up. And it was a very, 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 very small pocket. We probably may have been lower than 50 people, and they were on a caveman level. But the air was very polluted and what have you. So our ancestors remained in the mothership. Meanwhile, he sent an Amagian scientist named Abam upon the planet to find out what was edible, where we could live, and Yohad would just come down and check on it. Now, the story is going to sound another familiar, too, about the war in heaven, and this is where they get it from. A lot of stuff that is told to you is a lie. I really wish I could remember this European's blog interview. This guy was like the smoking man from the X-Men, the X-Files. Everybody remember him? The smoking man from the X-Files. He was always, he never had a name, but he was so powerful. He wanted. Let me tell you something. I can't remember this radio interview, but they were interviewing this man. You know how these European dorks be like, yeah, man, because the spaceship was just crafted, economically and this and that and what have you. And the man was like, look, y'all got me for an hour. I can't give you my name, but he gave them the clearance. And one person that did their due diligence said, yeah, there is a such thing of a certain clearance. He said, I'm the man that goes and find artifacts and stuff that hide it from y'all. Matter of fact, I think he said his clearance was so high, he said the president and the senators and them don't know who he is. He generally said, I'm the smoking man. You know them dumb dorks, I was cussing them. They was like, these dummies ain't asking him the right question. Damn if the man said, you know what? He had to stop him, but they was asking him dumb questions. He said, you got me on this thing. You're not asking me the right questions. He said, I'm the man that would hide artifacts and things that would turn your religions upside down. Ask me some better questions. I'm here. Yes, we messing with some graves that you call these aliens and stuff. Yes, I can tell you this. Ask me. I've got me right here. I wish I could find it. Maybe later on I can find it and I will send it to you. And I was like, praise God. Because again, when I was doing an interview a couple weeks ago, up in New York, going through some of this, I'm telling y'all, and somebody insulted me by chat and said the S word, and I went off. I cursed him. I said, you gotta remember, I'm a gray magi. Look, I bless you, but I'm going to fight back. If you don't believe this, you don't like it, turn off the thing, watch something else. If you don't like what I'm saying, I'm telling you, I know it sounds all foreign, but it's other Europeans. If Europeans were sitting up here saying it, you listen. So I told him, I'm like, it makes sense. It's like, if you don't like what I'm saying, turn it off. Don't listen. I'm like, damn, I don't like gay porn. I'm not going to watch it. Excuse me for the baby. I mean, but that makes sense, right? It's the same thing as, dog throwing up and taking a duty. I don't like, why the hell am I going to watch it? So you sound retarded. So you trolling. So I was like, all right, back to you. So anyway, I said, again, there's Europeans that will verify what I am saying to you. All right, so Yochai kept checking on Abam. I'm basically surmising what is in the Holy Corbett. This is the book that your ancestors were being killed. Remember, if you're reading the Christian Crusades, the European Catholic Church and all was burning books. Remember now, you know you Muslims, but you know the time frame of it, Christianity, and then later on Islam. The key thing is you know you always been Moors, and I keep telling you Moors. You had another creed prior to that. You were what I'm saying. You were the Magi. This is who you were. Your symbol was under the six-pointed star. Or the Ankh. Your priesthood was on all continents. We even went to Europe, and they called themselves the Druids. You went to Egypt, they called themselves the Coptic, and the Ankh is used. So anyway, Obam was gathering information. Yochai would check on him. He found out, here's the Apple story. He found out that there was a mushroom you shouldn't touch because it would alter your senses. So the captain, Yochai, the Lemurian, forbid not to eat it. Meanwhile, he kept checking on them. A lot of our ancestors were getting restless on the ship. They wanted to get off, but they've been in space for years. Now they got to land. They wanted to get on the planet, but again, the air wasn't clear, and Obam was still gathering data. So he said, can I have a woman scientist from my nation among you? And her name was Ova. Sound familiar? That's your Adam and Eve story. So, now the insurrection happened on the spaceship. This is your war in heaven. The first captain, the first lieutenant, that's the person supposed to be below the captain. His name was Luxor. Sounding kind of familiar? Lucifer, Luxor. He decided to cause mutiny, which woke the captain, Yochai, the Lemurian, up with other officers, and they were able to gather them, up and stop the mutiny. And for their punishment, they were banished to go out into space. They put them on a spaceship to go out, but they turned the spaceship around, landed not too far from Obam and Ova, and lied and told them that they could eat the mushroom. And by the time Yochai came to check on them, you know what mushrooms do. A lot of y'all more, aware of what drugs and stuff do. It's like, hey, seeing colors and stuff. And he got pissed off and he cursed, he cussed them out like, yo, you weren't supposed to mess with this. And then he realized the person that talked Ova into doing it and lied was Luxor. That's your Satan talking with the snake to eat the apple. This is where the story came from. So then Yochai realized Luxor and his crew was here on the earth, so he put them back in the ship. This time he made sure they were banished and they went out to space. And then so his compromise was he didn't want to keep the people on the spaceship for too long because, again, they were tired. But part of Abam and Ova's punishment, they were to stay on the surface of the earth. And then that's when Yochai and the other Lemurians decided we'll compromise. And they had technology where they had a laser beam that could cut through rock like butter. And that was the beginning of your underground Lemurian, or you heard as your Moorish civilizations. And they still live there. It's funny, they know that we're descendants of Lemurians as well as they are. They never forgot the technology or their high evolution. Some of them communicate with some who were developed here on the surface of the earth telepathically, and some will still come up. This is when you hear the stories about spaceships coming in, and that's your other ancestors or some other beings that's coming back and forth. Well, anyway, it's funny, they call you Hetakians, only meaning that people live above the earth. But we had a lot of underground cities and tunnels, and I used to hear these stories when I was in the Moorish temple when I was a young boy in Camden. And they said we used to have tunnels that would come from all the way from this coast all the way to the west coast. Now, the Holy Corbett had described that, through some of the wars and stuff that our ancestors did, we wind up making some of them caves cave in. But some of the technology was gleaned in the book. He talked about that we had vehicles, but we called them devils. And they traveled on a cushion of air. All right, so I need to go all on that tangent on that. I want to get back to the 7 laws because I want to get to the demonstration part. and to also teach you the basics of influencing people, because again, you'd be very surprised how you're being influenced. I want to backtrack for some of you who are here. I was talking about the 7 universal laws. Some of you Moors may be aware of it, the history of it. You know, us Moors, when we were going to the temple when I was a little boy back in 80, a lot of things weren't being talked about. Some things the elders were going to the grave with. And this was my promise with the Lord, that I said, Lord, if you bless me, because I know that there's more beyond the Quran and the Bible, and I will make sure I will teach it to the people. And obviously my father must have had the same, you know, and I'm his son. So we're giving you a lot of secrets that individuals wanted to keep from. It's funny, and I'm going to tell this story. A lot of people don't know this now. A lot of people want to know this. When I was dating my children's mother back in 84, 85, I was a teen. I always dated older women, so she was a little older than me. Her stepfather and her mother, they broke off, and he was a Freemason. He had left some books behind. And his book was the Hannibal Bey. And that's how it got in my hand. I still had that book in my hands. I was a teen, and now I'm 50. And then I said to Father, I said, Daddy, Circle 7, and in these laws in this book, I'm like, this has got to be our science here. It's a Masonic book. And I'm like, this is what this Circle 7 must mean. So now, kind of know that history. I don't want to stick on that too much. I want to get into the laws because I want you to be aware of them. And we're going to try to do many examples. If I don't get them all now we're going to continue to keep doing it, because you're going to understand, like for instance, when I get to vibration is very important. Because if you can control your vibration, and this is real, a lot of stuff that you read about holy men, and there are holy women too. And I charge you Moors who's doing history, please balance this out, because we also have women who are prophetess, and even our brothers were dirty and they hid that history. Prophet Jesus, you would say Emmanuel. Remember the story you heard of him escaping the soldiers and what have you? Well, one of the sciences he learned in the sacred order, one of them I'm also part of, the Great White Brotherhood, that he learned to change his vibration. And so this is why he was able to walk by them unseen. The other science I'm going to tell you, it takes training, but I'm going to divulge some things to you. This is why I keep telling some of you to look up the person Darren Brown, and then look up the person. When I'm saying look them up, I'm saying look on YouTube, pull up videos, because you're going to see demonstrations of this man. He actually, I was telling my cousin and his beautiful wife and my other baby cousin, this man was taking white sheets of paper, cutting them the size of money, and was using your science and going to jewelry stores and was buying things with it. But I want you to see for yourself. This is your science. And I'm saying this to you because they're also using mass hypnosis upon you. Please also see the movie. It may be enjoyable, but it's going to wake you up. They live. You are being bombarded by subliminals. Oh, and I will tell you, I can say this since I'm talking about it, we're on the subject of subliminals, and you're aware of it. Whenever you have your legal briefs, we'll visit this again, but it's on my mind right now, so I want to say it. Whenever you have your legal briefs and you're about to do what you got to do, Moors, take your time and make a small sentence of what you want. I'm going to go into it later on tonight. And then you use your finger as if it is a pen and write it on your document before you submit it. Do you hear me? What did I say? Say back to me.
Use your finger.
Decide what you want first.
Right. Decide. Make it a short sentence.
Short sentence. What you want. Take your finger. Right on
it. Thank you.
Right on the dot.
Because guess what? Their minds will pick it up. Your subconscious mind is reading everything. You're actually reading some things I put down before you walked in. I'm going to veil these things to you, so your mind will be told. You're going to be Neo when you walk up out of here. I'm trying to make you like any other had a video game. You know, you can switch it, you can see the code. Things is like that for real, for real. The question everything you see. Be analytical on anything and everything you can see. I'm telling you. Do you know why the car salesman ask you questions before they're about to sell you a car? Unbeknownst to you, you're about to be influenced.
That's right.
Let me get my Charlie word, but I digress. I'm going to go into it. Let me finish this up because I want to get heavy and I want you to be joyful. I want you to understand the tools I'm going to give you. People pay thousands of dollars to get it. I'm giving it to you because it's yours. Especially seeing these beautiful turbans and feathers on your head. You're supposed to have this. When these people seeing us walk in the streets, as a matter of fact, I was about to tell you earlier, when I worked in a bookstore in 95, there was a brother from the islands. And he was saying, he said, yes, in my country, we see somebody wear something like that. We run away from them like we're trying to catch a bus. And he paused, and he told the person, he said, what that means is you can hurt us without even touching us. So he's basically saying, when they see them turbans and feathers on their head, you got great respect. And I'm going to do my best to try to change this frequency to take you back to where it was before I fell back from the mainstream. Some of you, I may seem to be new to you. Some of you may know me going back. I just had a small site from students I taught. But this led up to what I'm doing right now. This is the first time in a long while I really actually came out and taught on a mass level. You know, but I'm going to give you some things that a lot of these students that had access to me these last 10 years privately. And some of them you probably know. All right, so let me go back to what I'm saying. Now I'm going to get into the 7 laws because I want y'all to know this. The 7, they call them the 7 Hermetic laws. To you Moors, you know the Circle 7 laws. The first law is mind, or they would say mentalism. The second law, I'm going to go through the explanation after, but I'm going to go through the law. The second law is correspondence. Again, I apologize as time will go on because I'm used to my individual classes with individuals, and I used to have handouts and stuff, but all that's going to change. The second law is correspondence. The third law is vibration. Remember, I touched on that a little bit, and we're going to go back on that again. The fourth law is polarity. Again, give yourself a little space because I'm going to give you an explanation for each so you can understand. The next one is rhythm. The next law, 6, is cause and effect. Note, some of you are worldly individuals, and I'm pretty sure you come across individuals who are Buddhists, and they always bring up that law of cause and effect, or they'll say karma. And the 7th law is generation. All right, the first law I spoke before you came. It goes into telling you that all is mind. Everything is energy. The universe is mental. It would come very clearly to you when you learn astral traveling or Nava, and you tap into what some may say the Akashic Records. Your Akashic Records is a blueprint of all things that's being done. You can see the past, the future, the present, and all. Just a matter of you tapping into that. It's the universal mind. Know that all things are created from the mind. Like I said earlier, as an example, the very chairs you're sitting in, it was in somebody's mind before they created it. It was in their mind first before they created it. Same thing with the very shoes you wear on your feet. It was somebody's mind before they created it. Know that. The other key thing that the Holy Corbett talks about, which I'm going to tie into this and tell you, your thoughts have power. I'm going to prove this to you tonight. I trust I'll be able to get 2 or 3 individuals to demonstrate the power of words and thought. And I'm going to show you this, and then I'm going to teach y'all this. Because again, like I said, you're all being bombarded by thoughts. You're being bombarded by suggestions. All right? Some of the science, again, that I said I'm going to reveal to you, your dark wizards are your advertising agencies. If you don't know, why do you think they get paid millions of dollars from companies that want their skills on tricking you through subliminal to buy things you don't want and really need? But I'm going to pull the sheet off and give you tonight. And I trust I'm being bombarded with individuals coming at me because I'm giving you this, but that's how we roll, my father and I. We love our people, and that's why it's very insulting, and I go in on individuals who have been going at my father, because when we give you this, we give it to you with love. And we're keeping our charge from the elders. The elders, Sister Sayed Raha, Sister Rashida Bey. She's the second highest official in the Great Seal of Moorish affairs. My father is the highest official. He's the Emir. All right? And I'm going to hold back because it's just so much I give you all. Anyway, let me move forward because there's just so much I want to cram because I really want to utilize this tone. All right, correspondence. As above, so below. As below, so above. Correspondence is basically, I was trying to break this down earlier when I was saying correspondence is kind of in accordance with your 6-pointed star. But we would call it the Lemurian name, we call it the Ab, or you call it the hexalpha. What it is the blending of the positive and negative. What I was saying to you earlier about the holy days, the Creator's energy is what you may say neutral, but we are taught that it is the third power. You have your positive and you have your negative. But the third power that you're not aware of, and us Magi's are, and I'm telling you, is called Peru. Peru is the extreme point between the two that binds the two together. That's what this symbol represents. That's why it's interlaced. Your key thing is for you to learn to harness the astral energy and utilize it in order to affect the physical. So the pyramid pointing up is the astral. You can say positive, but it's the astral. And the bottom pyramid pointing down is the material. But that's also demonstrated here. Now, I'm the only one that's going to tell you the proper term to this. A lot of say, you know, the crescent star represents I, and the pyramid represents self, and the isonomy represents the law. And here's where everybody get caught up, and this is why I say ego gets caught up in. They say, am the master, and they just jump to that. You know, no. Whenever you learn a skill, you always are entered apprentice, or you're new at it. Once you start to become skilled at it, Europeans changed it to fellow the craft, what we would say adept. Then, from you being adept using your skills, you then will become a master the more time you put in. It's no different if you use a carpenter, you know, somebody he knew, you know, they learned some things, but then after a while, after a year or two, they twirling their hammer around like, man, they really good at it. You know, they adept at it. Before you know it, they're a master at it. Always know that. Don't get caught up in ego. That's the other trap that a lot of Moors got caught up with this. You say, I saw, well, I am master. And then they the same ones calling, I'm sovereign. You can't get sovereignty only works when you're a nation. As soon as a European hear you say that, they know you don't know. It's understood tacit. Don't want Charlie Murphy again. I digress. It's adept. Remember that. All right, so now, when I was saying about the holy days, yes.
You said Peru?
Peru. Yes, yes, below. Yeah, Peru. All right. I'm going to go into all of that too. So, yeah, going into the holy days, when you hear people say, oh, the Freemasons and witches do all these rituals on, like we'll say our Moorish spring is coming up. Those days are the very potent days that the Creator's energy is potent upon the earth. But that's the low holy day. Now, the high holy day for spring is May 1st. All right? Again, what I was kind of describing to you earlier about the rituals that we would do in our temple, we would have Nova, what have you. You're doing your rituals and you're absorbing the Creator's energy to harness and strengthen your spiritual energy, which then in turn affects your physical. This is why some individuals that are really into this, they can be old, but then they look very young. That's showing that their spiritual power is very strong within them. But guess what? The Creator's energy is neutral. This is why you have the left-hand path people also do their rituals. But y'all only getting what they're putting out in the street. Oh, that's the witchcraft stuff, man. Because, yeah, you know, because the Illuminati. They're doing that to keep you asleep. Now, when June comes, the changing of the season of summer is June 21st. Now, the height of summer, the high point of that, that's the high holy day, which is August 1st. Then when fall comes, September 21st, now I'm getting ready to go to where we're just going to really hit home, because I keep talking to you about the right-hand path. Trust me, that's what all of you here, you're trying to follow the right-hand path. And then those who follow Satan, whatever they call their God, the D-God, the S-God, I don't even want to say his name, they're the left-hand path people. All right? Now, the height of autumn, and it's gotten lost. And this is how you know the masses are caught in massive not expelled. Remember I told you the left-hand path is not always far from you right-hand path people and the rituals that you do, because they know that they're aware these days that I am telling you that they do rituals. And they utilize this energy. This is why they are powerful. Hallows Eve. And then yet people say, I don't follow Satanism. But yeah, come on, Jim. Come on, little John. Come on, what you doing? Put that little Captain America thing on. Go get some candy. You celebrate. You celebrate. But guess what them left-hand people are doing? Left-hand path. On October 31st, they're doing their rituals. And the height of fall, holy day, is November 1st. That's also a day that you give honor to the governors in heaven, which is All Saints' Day. I just told you what they told you in your face, but you don't get it. Hallows Eve. It's the eve of the holy day. I just told you it's November 1st. So, when you hit home, left-hand path know that that's a powerful time. So what do? They do their rituals going into the holy day, which is the eve of it. Still, they're going to glean from it, and they do all their dark rituals. And some of the stuff that you hear, yes, it's true. Oh, and if you do eat at McDonald's, don't do it anymore. You ever heard of Soylent Green? Some of you older ones like me at the grave, you might be like, oh. Don't eat at McDonald's. There's a radio interview, I can't remember this. My father and I, we joke. Well, we don't joke with each other. He sent me a video a couple years ago and said, there is a rabbi who's a synagogue of Satan, was being interviewed by a Christian. And he talked to him, and the guy was like, I thought it was a joke. I bull crap you not.
Eat babies.
You know what I mean? I thought it was a joke. It's like, yes, we sacrifice. And he laughing, right? Because you must have seen it. He talked like that. I used to stand up, I was like, voice stuff. So I'm like, I'm thinking it's a joke. I'm waiting for the punchline. I'm like, Eddie Murphy. He's like, yes, and when we sacrifice people, he said, what do you do when you kill these people when you sacrifice for Satan? He's like, oh, yes, well, that's why we have meat packing places. And I'm thinking, this is just a do this. I'm like, get the heck out of here. He's like, no, that's why you think. No Jews ate at McDonald's. McDonald's is one of our bigger company people to buy our meat. Yep. So I'm still waiting, and I'm like, the interview's over, and I'm like, let me call Daddy back. I'm like, wait a minute, because we don't joke. Daddy, I'm like, I'm waiting for the joke, because the man, he sounded, the way I imitated, I thought it was a joke. And it was that you hear comedy and somebody do a Jew, I was waiting for his joke. No, he was like, oh, it's easy. We do a sacrifice. We get the blood, and then way we get rid of the bodies. In our meat factory, grind them up with the other meat. And we just inform other Jews, oh, hey, you just don't go to eat McDonald's. Like, you know what? Because I'm new to this. I'm looking at YouTube, and I'm like, my people. And I've seen a lot of videos of people fighting, and Mighty Funny was always at McDonald's. Don't laugh at. Pull this stuff up. It's a shame, though, because some of our young girls, they don't have no shame. They be butt naked and still fighting. And it's always in the McDonald's.
Yeah, right.
And I'm like, oh, it's the food. So I'm telling y'all, you eat no McDonald's. Y'all can try to wean off that stuff and just make eat chicken. All right? Now, I'm going to tell you something real quick before I go back. I always kind of knew if you consumed human, it ain't right. There was a channel I used to be subscribed to called, what was it? There is something they don't want you to know. Well, anyway, they finally covered the subject of the effects of a human eating human. Can't remember the details, but they said this. They followed the cannibal tribe, and they ate food, and this is basically what happens. Within the first few years, they call it the giggle disease or something. Just giggle. They just giggle for no reason. And then the next stage is they lose control of the body. Then the next stage is almost 10 and then they die from eating another human. But that was caught up in the matrix, and it went right over everybody's head. Remember when Morpheus said, when I looked at the pods with great precision, they liquefied the dead and fed it to the living. I suggest you strongly try to get off the flesh. We already know they're pumping all kind of hormones and stuff with our babies. They're maturing quicker. You know what I mean? And then also we already know that a lot of us are aggressive and what have you, but all this is from the pollutants plus the subliminals and stuff that we're going to get into. So I'm going to move from this and go into the suggestion laws. I'm going to do some demonstrations. But I just wanted to drop that on you. So please. And it makes sense too, because I remember seeing a movie called Love and a Bullet with my man Tretch. And that cute girl from the Good Girls, they were killers. And he worked for one mob people, and they had themselves a deli, one of them meat cutting places. And it made sense, because then when they bump somebody off, they cut the body up. So, all right. Boy, all right.
Correspondence.
Correspondence, which is all as above, so below, as below, so above. Now, the next law is vibration. Remember, I mentioned that. And this is basically saying nothing is stationary. Everything vibrates. Know that all things vibrate. Even a rock vibrates, just vibrates slower. All right. The definition for polarity, the fourth law, is everything is double. Everything has its opposites and extremes meet. That's kind of what I was saying to you. You who are being positive, when you're trying to live a positive life, never let your guard down and not know that negativity is not too far. Your key thing is you want to find it. Right. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And this is why I was explaining to you about the holy days. I didn't mean to go off track, but you need to be aware of that.
How do you find it?
It's many ways. Some of the other tools I'm going to give you, like you can shut a person down. One phrase I want to give you, it's a little tricky because you might forget. Remember to forget, and forget to remember.
Can you speak it to the mic?
Yes, testing. A phrase, this is if you're not in a physical situation, but you may be in a verbal situation with someone. Know this too, if someone disrupts your speaking, that's called an interrupt pattern. Like, you know what I mean? They want you to be unfocused. I'm going to break into that, and I'm going to make you understand where you're going to have at least the basics of influencing people tonight. I'm going to make sure I give that to you. Because it's being used upon you, and you need to be aware, and it is your science. You're calling it more science, but it's your science. Everybody else is using your science against you. This is where Jurali came. When Jurali was off the scene, before he came on the scene, you were being subjugated by these organizations. This is also why you were called at one point 3/5 of a man. When Joe Ali came on the scene, he gave you the other 2/5 as well. Made you whole. All right? So, but yeah, know that whenever there's positivity, negativity is not far behind. That's just the way nature is. And once you understand that spiritual law, it won't surprise you. Oh, Dr. Nyla, I do have a gift for you. It's holy ashes. I don't know if any of you are interested. It's just some things I usually give my students. I usually have prayer beads, stuff like that. What have you. When you go home, please get some salt. Get rock salt if you can, but just get some salt. You start fortifying your places. You want to stop having negativity come in your house. I'm going to tell you the other reason why some Moors have it to where you remove your shoes when you come out. They just don't want you to track in negativity. Now, yeah, it's kind of dirt, but you know, negative energy. But you get yourself salt and put it across your threshold, the front and back. You want around the windows. And if you really want to try to get spirit energy out of your house, bad energy, you put little bowls of salt in the corners of your house, in the little corners. Salt is an element that all it does is just radiate positive energy. It just absorbs negativity and projects positive energy. This, how can I say, ritual or technique was lost from your ancestors. You know that there's people who follow the right-hand path, and when they pass, they have a beautiful ritual. Then you know that there's some people who follow the negative path, the left-hand path, and some of them become very negative, and they get buried. Well, what was lost is their body had absorbed such negativity. The other part of the ritual of burying them, you were supposed to put rock salt on them to help absorb that negative energy. If not, some of the little spooky stories you hear, people wandering, graveyard. I won't go into none of that unless some of you get to know me personally. You want to know something, because there's some ritual that if I had to do, I have to go into the graveyard at night and stuff like that. If you want to hear that, there's other stuff down the line. But yeah, know that the salt is a positive element. And I had talked about the circle last time in some of these. I'm going to talk about that again. Here's one way to utilize it. Sometimes when some of you are going to court and dealing with certain things, try to visit that place the night before. Go to the store, go get yourself some Morton salt. And you walk yourself around. Don't make yourself look strange and stuff. You don't want nobody stopping you like, hey, what are you doing? I don't know. I'm just doing this more. Bye. You know, you have to. You don't be arrested. How you gonna look? You gonna be in newspaper and stuff. You got arrested. He was vandalizing some stuff. So kind of make it on the slide. You know it, and just walk that bad boy and make the circumference of the whole building. All right.
Did you want clockwise or counterclockwise?
Yeah, I was great to say. There you go. You go clockwise. Whenever you do positive work, you do clockwise. What I'm telling you is what brothers and sisters do in the lodge. Some of you know me also. I'm also with 33rd. But a lot of people only hear that and they forget that I'm a magi first. And I keep telling people Freemasons are imitating me. That's magi. So anyway, this is what your witches and other groups understand. The circle is very important. Your circle is your circumference. Your circle is your sphere of availability. That is your domain. That is your dominion. Do you feel me?
When you say
So, yes.
You said your circle is your availability.
Yeah, that's your domain. That's your dominion. You understand what I'm saying? I'm going to give you an example. You can repeat it if you want. I'm going to give you an example. Because what I'm giving you, it may not seem much to you. The magicians pay tens of dollars and they keep this secret, what I'm telling you now. There's a trick that if you go to India, you know how you always have people in the farmer's market and stuff, and then you have little magicians. And some of them are real, they call them fakirs. Some of them hold your science and they teach it to the young. And by the time they get our age, they're literally doing mental broadcasting magic. Ask me about Drew Ali getting the flag, I'll tell you that later. So anyway, you go to India and they will have a guy that will sit in the market. This is how he make his money. He'll sit and he'll make a big circle in the dirt where everybody's shopping and doing all the other stuff. And then he'll do this, unbeknownst to everyone. And he'll just sit. And then he'll just sit and do, this is one of the chants I'm going to give y'all, because I want to give y'all spiritual energy to help you augment your power. He might do a chant, Om Mani Padme Hum. And he'll sit and he's charging, like we said, the sphere availability. That's your dominion. That circle. And he'll sit. I'm also going to demonstrate to you tonight how sound does affect the body and words affect the body, because I will be bringing someone up to demonstrate. So while he's doing that for a good 15 minutes or so, he's charging the circle. Once he's done, then he'll say, come, everybody come and see, yeah, come and see his great magic trick. And this is the rope trick that they do. A lot of us, because we haven't, I can't say because some of you are worldly people, but I don't know if any of you went to India yet, but you've seen it on TV. The little rope trick that goes all the way up in the air, like how the hell it does it, and then all of a sudden somebody climbs it and they disappear. I'm explaining to you right now how it's done.
Johnny Quest.
Oh.
Haji.
Right, Johnny Quest. Funny you brought that up. I never liked the cartoon. Remember I mentioned how the government got just Area 51, they collect your technology and stuff like that? Now, you must know with the government, they got to release, would you say, top secret information from what they call, after 30 years or so, the Freedom of Information Act? Yeah. Guess what? But they never said how. He just said one of the damn ways that they revealed it to you. I was wondering why I never liked Johnny Quest. Because I was a child. It was too mature. Look at the damn ending credits of Johnny Quest. NASA.
That's right.
They never told you how they had to tell you the truth. Now let me get back to what I'm saying. So now he charged it. The key thing that he needs them to do is to cross the circle. Once they're in the circle, then whatever he projects, the people will see. Please see the movie The Shadow, 94 it came out. It'll give you an idea of what I'm trying to tell you. The key phrase that they use is they'll say, the clouded mind sees nothing. Now I'm going to touch on Drew Ali. And if you don't know the history, when Drew Ali came back on the scene to free you, the first thing he had to do, he had to go to the president to go get the cherry tree they chopped down. He was a diplomat, and they kept blocking him. He got into the White House. Clouded mind sees nothing. He utilized the whole science of some of the things I'm going to try to give to you tonight so you can understand, and then you can build building blocks. And the more I come, the more you communicate and I give you stuff, you can do this. He wound up walking by and got into the Oval Office and scared the bejesus out of the president and said, I've come to my people. They were trying to block. They couldn't stop him because he was a diplomat. They can only kind of delay him.
How do you know when your mind is clouded?
You can't think clear. Europeans do this even at your regular job. You want to break some things down. You notice how they have you multitask? Multitasking is another way of keeping you confused, and then I can just hit you with a real question. You know, John, I really wanted to know if you could just really fix that cabinet. All those files in there. You know, it's a big ass damn job. But he couldn't ask you that earlier. But if he had you doing other things and your mind was occupied, know this, that there's two minds. Your subconscious mind and your conscious mind. Yep. And then you have your critical mind. That's the bridge. The key thing to us hypnotists, yes, I am a hypnotist, is to open your critical mind, to bypass your conscious mind, and to get my subliminal to drop into your subconscious mind. I'm going to demonstrate that tonight. And yes, a lot of people are out here confused. That's why we're kind of talking a little bit more, and I get to the law, but I'm trying to get you to understand the importance of the power of words. You already know that now. The fact that you're in here, you know that you're not Negro, black, and colored. Words have power. Thought has power. Do you know if your body cannot express the thought, it turns on itself? Why do you think people have diseases, cancer, and other things, health problems? There's a book you need to get. Power Suggestion by Dr. Murray. Beautiful the way that person had broke down the Bible and the understanding of suggestion. Again, I'm going to give you the techniques, and then there's other books I'm going to lead you to that are really rare. Some things I might have to copy myself. I want to say that. Anyway, getting back to what I was saying about Joe Ali, that's how he got into the White House. He used his ability to cloud the minds of the Secret Service to get in. And then once he started talking to the president, he said, I come to free my people. And the other question was my flag, and the president acted like he ain't know nothing. And Prophet Joe Ali told him, our flag is in such and such vault that y'all have hidden. And then the president followed and went to that vault and pulled your Moorish flag, the old cherry tree, off the shelf and unfolded it, and they had took the star out, and Joe Ali said, put the star back in. Now, everybody who is aware right now, you should be aware of Joe Ali. That was about 1912 or so, in 1913, was the first temple. Now, here's another person, so y'all don't think this is hokey-spokey-dokey, that I tell you to look up. His name was Wolf Messing. Wolf Messing. Some of you probably, I hear you say, because I've been here a couple times, you probably looked him up and seen him. He was kind of alive at that time, and I'm going to give you an example of what this man did. He was a Jewish mentalist. This man predicted the war with Hitler, and Hitler put a bounty on him, because he predicted the war, when it was going to end, and when Hitler was going to die, Hitler put a bounty on him. So then he left there, Germany, and went to Russia. Stalin wasn't cool with it. He didn't know if he was an agent. So he said, I heard of your reputation, because that was his trade. He was a mentalist. So he said, he gave him two tests. He said, I hear you had these abilities. I want you to rob a bank. It's your ability. He said, all right. He said, oh, and I don't want you to pick a bank. I'm going to have my KGB pick the bank. Please look up Wolf Messing on YouTube. You will see they do recreation, and the stuff was real. This man was real. I'm giving you this so we can let you try to see what I'm trying to tell you about Joe Ali. You can take it out of the spooky-dokey Jesus thing, and it was real. And Jesus even had said, some of the things that I have done, some of you will do even greater. A lot of you are part of what Joe Ali had foretold and other ancients told. Oh, also, make sure y'all pick up the book series Cryon, because some of you have gifts, and that divine spirit it left messages for some of you to help you pick up from your past life. All right? Let me get back to Wolf Messing. So they picked the bank. All he went in there was with an empty suitcase and a white sheet of paper. Went into the bank, used his mental ability, and told the bank guy, I want to take out something equivalent to about $250,000 in cash. Gave the slip to the guy. It was an empty sheet of paper, white sheet of paper. Man looked at him and looked at the paper, went back and came back and filled that suitcase up with the money. Wolf Messing closed the thing, walked across the street, found the KGB, and said, look, boom, I did it. Then, of course, he took it back into the bank, and the teller had a heart attack. He didn't die. He was like, oh, my God, I ate this stuff. You know, but he had a heart attack, but he wound up being all right. Now, his second test was this. This is the second test. Stalin said, all right. He was on a military base, and his house was in the center of the military. And any cats that are ex-military, you know you just can't walk anywhere, just like the White House, without going through checkpoints. So he said, I want you to get back to my sanctuary. And the deal was to get him off the base and tell him use his ability to get back on the base. So soldiers walked him out. He was in his three-piece suit. Walked him off the base. It was about a good mile or two. And then all of a sudden, this man in his three-piece suit walking past the checkpoints. And when you're dealing with military personnel, they usually have 2 guards standing at certain checkpoints. He even had 2 guards standing on the outside of his house, just as well as inside, and just as well as you start going through the house. And Wolf Messing is just steady walking right by him. He's just walking right by him. And then finally he walked up on Stalin, who was sitting at the fireplace, and said, oh, damn, what? All right, how did you do it? And he said, oh, it was easy. I was buried. Buried was the highest Russian general official in the army. So, since you're the newer generations and you all seen the X-Men, you know what Professor Askin did, or Emma Frost. He just projected in their mind that they seen him in a military suit being someone else. And him being a higher officer, the lower officers knew to stand in attention and not to even look his way. That's how he was able to walk by him. Wolf Messing had done a few other astonishing things, but I bring him up so you can, again, understand. Everybody else is using your science. Wait till you see more of Darren Brown. I only told you about the white sheet of paper he used in the jewelry store buying jewelry and some seafood with white sheets of paper. I can give you the pattern, but it don't mean much to you until I start giving you the other sciences. But what it is when people are speaking to you, your subconscious and conscious mind is absorbing it. And what he says is at the same time is, for instance, he'll say, you know, I had a headache. This is the time the man is bringing this stuff up. He says, you know, I have a headache. And, you know, this is me holding money. He's like, you know, but my friend told me to, you know, take some Anacin for it. You know, take it. It's good. Just take it. And he times it. At the same time, he's handing it to the person before the person knows it. Taking it like regular money, and boom. Now I'll go into detail with that later, but I want you to see that you will pull these videos up. He's demonstrating this stuff on a hidden camera. All right. So I didn't mean to go all on a tangent there, but I just want you to understand we're not so much far behind, or we're behind, but we can catch up more. The key thing which is holding us back is the in-house fighting stuff that has got to stop. You're going to have to be in greater numbers of good Moors who take this knowledge, and to be able to help in great numbers to sit down on dirty Moors who is causing confusion, who have did a lot of damage to this movement. I will tell stories, but it will waste time. The next law, like I said, it was polarity. Next one is rhythm. All things ebb and flow, action and reaction, advance and recoil. Again, rhythm is all is ebb and flow, action and reaction, advance and recoil. Know this, and this applies to when you get blessings in your life too. This is another science here, and I'm making it simple for you. Whenever you get a blessing from the universe, you got to give. Mm-hmm. All right? I say this. This is what I used to do when I had got this nice, decent white-collar job. Job wound up calling me for the job, 18,000 hours. I'll go into that another time, but I knew it was a blessing. Me being a magi, grand priest, I knew there was a blessing coming from the universe. So as soon as I got paid, what I did was I bought flowers and I blessed them, and I just gave it to some of the co-workers and bought some apple cider, what's name, he gave it to the brothers, Allah having a blessing. So, again, this is what the law of rhythm is saying. I just want to give that to you so you can understand this. Put it like this. Why do you think the nasty behind millionaires are filthy rich and you know they're negative people?
Because they use philanthropy.
The beloved just said. You want to repeat it again? Yeah.
Islam, I have an example of what you're saying. Today I was in the post office mailing thumb drives. And the person, two people in front of me, there was a person in front of me and a person in front of them was at the counter. And apparently the one at the counter was shipping 2 boxes to maybe somebody in the army or people that work for coffee from Wawa. And it came to like $95 because they always say your total. $95 or something. Well, the person behind him, but in front of me, said, I'll pay it. And her order was $3.50. And the other order was 95, so it came to like 98 something. And she paid for a stranger's package. And the lady and I that were standing back, we were like, okay, you know, like that was, it made us feel good because that energy was like, yeah, we need to go out and do something. Because here she was paying a $95 shipping bill for a stranger, and her mail was $3.50. So that was some energy. Maybe she was paying it forward.
And it's good that you said that because that is one of our creed of us magi. We're supposed to help people, and this is one element that Freemasonry made sure they keep this. And this is another thing that other people don't talk about. They always talk about the daggone devil worship, Lucifer, this and that. They're lying. Because the thing is this, how is somebody going to tell you about an organization that they're not even a part of? It's almost like having a grade school child that's an AT child. They're like 6th grade, but they're working on we'll say 11th and 10th grade level, but yet they're going to tell you what goes on in the university. You know what I mean? So it's the same thing, you know, with the Freemasonry thing, whereas Freemasons understand that they do a lot of charity work. And it's because that's part of what we're talking about right now. Rhythm, everything ebbs and flows. Your Egyptian brothers and them knew that. Your old Moorish ancestors knew that. So again, whenever you get a blessing, you do something kind for someone else. Because it's a more blessing to come back. And then when that person, you're doing something for them, and they say, oh wow, you're doing this for me, they want to do something for you. You tell them, no, I don't need your help right now, or I don't need that. But what you can do is this. When you see somebody else need, that's the way you pay me back. You do it for someone else, and you pass that on. That's one of my prerequisites with my students when I have in my small cipher. Those who are my students have been keeping contact with me for years. I will always encourage them, and I say, try to do 3 good things during the week for people straight. Of course, you're going to do something for family, but do something for people you don't know. Because what that'll do is that helps down the line of building good karma. And trust, when you really need, and I've been in a lot of spots, but because I live that as my life, there's times that when I need, the universe had blessed me. Individuals just came out of nowhere and then helped and blessed me. Like when I got coronated, and it's the 33rd, and I always wanted to use that day as a day I give thanks to the Lord because I never knew I would be a part of Freemasonry, let alone get up to the Scottish Rite high degree. So I said I would use that as a day that, especially when things are real good for me. I tell you what I did. I just put on my turban, and I go to the Chinese store or something like that and buy a whole lot of shrimp fried rice, and whatever, about 50 of them, little pints and forks, and make sure I do that. And I bless them all. Then I will go to the store and buy sodas, and I bless them all. And then I will hand it to the people that was homeless. This is part of what you're supposed to be doing as Moors. That's on a low scale. But we have in our temple or something like, you know what I mean? You go out in numbers. As a matter of fact, I'm talking about this. One of my students hit me up by video to let me know he's doing with one of my customs that I do. People usually see me walking. I'm usually wearing my kufi, and they usually see my Masonic belt or whatever, and they just see my prayer bead. prayer walk. I am doing my best to change the frequency of the city. This is what you're supposed to do. When you see the shadow, then you understand what I'm saying. When you see that movie, Shiwan Khan, who was the enemy in the movie, he wound up making the whole damn high-rise building be invisible. The whole city didn't see until he got injured, and then his concentration was lost, then the building appeared. But what I'm saying to you, and I'm going to demonstrate tonight, how your words and your thoughts can change your environment. It can influence your environment. Your ancestors knew this. You do affect the weather. You affect the actual consciousness of the people. I remember when I first brought that subject up about in the early 90s at Roundtable, when we had our class in Roundtable. DC was known to have the highest crime. And it wound up getting on national news. And what happened was it was some group. I don't want to say Buddhist. They could have been Hindu. I knew they were Eastern faith. But they were making it as a non-denomination gathering. They said, all right, this is horrible, especially at the capital of our country in D.C. The crime is bad. So they said, we're going to have a weekend prayer sit-in. Well, damn if the daggone police chief went on the radio station and said, when turkeys fly, they ain't going to do nothing. I'll eat crud. Well, when that fateful day came, and all those people heard the advertisement, and they all came out for a peaceful assembly and a peaceful prayer, unifying prayer, damn crime dropped damn near to zero. And the police chief had to later on admit he had to eat crud. And I'm saying to you Moors, you are the mothers and fathers of civilization. It was a time when they seen a fez or a turban. You were kind of cruel. You'd had them bow. And they couldn't get up until you were out of sight. But I'm saying, people seen you with your fez and turbans on, they knew you came with knowledge and you came with power. You changed an environment. So I'm saying to you Moors, you're going to be conscious of your thoughts. When you're walking through your city, try to assemble a couple brothers and sisters, and y'all can just walk through the city, and y'all intent and focus, and I'm going to try to demonstrate, I'm going to speed through this and go through some stuff, I'm going to demonstrate some stuff, and I want y'all to walk away with tools tonight, because you can affect your environment. I'm going to tell you what I put out when I do my prayer walk. I put out love, especially my main route that I'm going back and forth. There's Cooper Hospital and there's Lady of Lourdes Hospital. So I always do prayer for those who are sick. But my other prayer energy is for those who follow the left-hand path, especially those who have larceny in their heart, that their minds are clouded and they're confused. I'm just one person. Imagine if I had a couple Moors and we're just walking and we're doing this. This should actually make you think back to sometimes you've seen them two Mormons or whoever, people walk through your neighborhoods. What the heck do you think they're doing? I should be hearing that. Everybody else is working your science. I know it don't seem much, but please, I'm trusting you really feel me. I'm going to speed through this because we're going to start doing demonstrations and I'm going to show you some things. And I want you to be, wow, all right, you're going to be able to do it. But the key thing is you're going to have to keep it up, especially with the young cherubs back there. It's great that y'all get it because by the time y'all get to our age, you want Professor X mental stuff. Oh, if you didn't know, Professor X is based off of a real person. His name was Milton Eckerson. He invented conversational hypnosis. All right. The next law is cause and effect. And we also know that what? Nothing happens by chance. Everything happens according to a law. And we already know that. Y'all making calls right here. I'm making calls, giving you this. The effect is going to be y'all getting potent information that elders gave me. Some things I gleaned myself. guess what? That means there's more people out there that know what I know, and it's going to make effective change. Now, this is going into greater numbers for me, because like I said, other individuals had access to me for well over 10 years when I fell back in the mainstream back in '02. And I still taught. I didn't really stop teaching. I was actually in the hip-hop arena there. I was an old hip-hop dancer, and I was teaching and performing. And I was going to do film work, but I was still teaching Moors who did recognize me and what have you. And I was just giving them the higher science that I'm trying to give you now. Right? But anyway, again, cause and effect.
Dr. Hannibal,
Yes.
I just want to interject on one thing, going back to power suggestions.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Just briefly, going back to power suggestions, one thing that I noticed, as a contractor, when I was traveling, I would always pay attention to the slogan. As a contractor, I was traveling to different cities and states working. But one of the things that I noticed when I would travel and embark on a new city that I had to work in was the different slogans would jump out. And then when you think about the big cities, they put a lot of campaign finance into either updating their slogan or doing something to their slogan to change the energy and vibration of maybe the city is in a slump and it needs some pick me up.
Right.
Maybe the city needs to slow down for a minute, because I know Vegas is going through a current transition where their slogan was, once whatever goes on in Vegas, stay in Vegas.
After that shooting.
Right. So now you're seeing a lot of campaigns going on where they're kind of remodifying their slogan to reshift the energy. And in Pennsylvania just went through a recent power suggestion where they changed their slogan line. Like as soon as you get on 95, you'll see. Actually, I have a picture where it had the old slogan, and now Philadelphia has their new slogan. And Delaware just went through a slogan change. So these words are being acted upon us daily. So it's something that happens every day in our government.
Yeah, yes.
So they're doing this daily.
Yeah,
so you have to be aware of the power words that they're creating. We're in their boundaries.
Right.
And so we have to create our boundaries to make sure that we're not affected by it if it doesn't pertain to our journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you're saying is, again, for those who hadn't seen the '86 movie that I mentioned earlier, They Live. For those who hadn't, but I suggest you see it. It's kind of entertainment, but it's on the line of what I'm talking about, and I'll just give a little brief of what it is. It's a movie on how aliens use a cloaking device to make themselves look normal, and they're actually taking over. And you're taking over in a very subtle way. What they're doing is they're putting up subliminals on the walls and your billboards and stuff. So, Roddy Piper's character and my man Keith David, they wind up coming across these glasses that these rebels finally figured out there's a signal, and that these people are putting subliminals. So in the movie, you'll see, like, you're looking with regular glasses, you're looking at the dollar bill. But when you look at it through the daggone thing, you see it's white and it says, "This is your God." And then you see on the billboards, "Obey." Then you went by a whole thing of magazines. You're just looking at one word on each page is "consume," "obey," "conform." That's what's happening with the sisters telling you, and it's good that you have your eye. Now you have your eyes open, and I'm going to do my best to give you tools so then you can fend that off, right, and you start changing. Mm-hmm. All right? It is good that you're saying it, but yeah, you see that and you'll understand what I'm saying, because again, Europeans are having a big laugh under their sleep. And I always kept saying, like, yo, by the time y'all figure this out, they done went to the bank, cha-ching, and made billions off you. About the time you get it. Same thing with the Matrix. They come to find out the Matrix was stolen from the sister. They can't, you know what I mean? And I got to meet her about 10 years ago on the phone. She got paid too, $1 billion, but they stole it from her. But the matrix is kind of what we're talking about here. I call it the enigmified matrix. Look, I'm in this world, I ain't of it. I'll tell some people in a minute. I'm in it, but I ain't. I'm in this world, but I'm not of it. And I'll keep it moving. I'll give people blessings and greetings, and I'm moving. And I found that I couldn't even be myself so much with individuals. And this happened a good 8 years ago. Part of our Moorish custom too. Some of you brothers may know who are Moors, but some of you may not. I will teach you how we embrace and greet. So matter of fact, I got to show you. Okay. And this is also part of masonry. Like I said, it's always imitating you. When we brothers meet, part of your Moorish greeting, we embrace each other. Peace, brother, and we would do this. All right? That's the way you greet. We needed to do it again. You see this? All right. Now, I'm going to explain it. You probably already know, but for the sake of the conversation. When you're greeting your brother or sister, you're greeting you, the fallen angels. Why do you think I'm powering you and I'm calling you cherubs? You're the fallen angels, or really you're the fallen gods. And I'm trying to stimulate you. So when you're giving the highest respect to the brother or sister, and you're greeting their seraphim. Remember, when you're born with two angels. So you're not only greeting that person, you're greeting their seraphim. So you'll say Assalamu alaikum, or y'all say Islam, but you can also say salam. 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 Now you're greeting his or her cherubim. All right? We need to turn this way so you can see. Again. Salam. And the cherubim. And then you're coming back for the third. Then it's them. That angel. This is your Moorish greeting. And it's a shame. It's been a while since I have done it with another brother or so, because some individuals try to say, oh, you the one. Nah, bro. I embrace you as a brother, but because you like that, fine, I'm cool. There's another, and to me, it's kind of hard because I'm a Tarian. And us Tarians, we tactile, we express love, we rule by Venus. And me being a teacher, I've met so many people and stuff, and I teach like out of brotherly love. Y'all going to experience this because that's the reason why you're here. If you notice, those of you who've been following my father's teachings, you notice we don't teach followers. We teach you to be leaders, teachers. We giving you tools. That's why we're not liked by a lot of people. It's kind of like you're in class and y'all got the same book I got. And it's actually the same book I got. Everybody knows when you go to school, there's different books. Y'all got the same book, but with the teacher guys, it's different edition, ain't it? The problem they have is we giving you the teacher's edition. That's the problem people have with us. So again, remember, I want you to understand, everything you do is spiritual. All that you're learning from his grace, he knows what I know. He always tells you, it's just so much to tell you. He can't tell you everything. He's only one man. That was his other part. I just wasn't on the mainstream. But this is your other half. You're getting the material work of the jurisprudence, but you have to embrace the spiritual. You have to embrace the mentals, because it changes everything. It does affect everything. All right, let me give you the last, and we're going to start doing some different. I'm going to show you the powers of words. The last one is generation. The last law, generation, is manifesting everything. Everything is masculine and feminine. All it is just your positive and negative. All right, there we got the demonstration. I'm going to show you, brothers and sisters, now. I'm going to give you 7 laws. Some of you got this from me before. The 7 laws that are the laws and suggestions that you're being bombarded with, and you don't know. Some of you already got it jumped. They ran into me a couple months ago that I had came here. individuals who study psychology, and they want to make good money. And they go into the business of advertising. Remember I told you earlier, your advertising agencies are your black wizards. They get paid big money because they're using the power of words to get people to buy useless things that they don't need. There's two emotions they need to get you to do things. One is fear, the other is greed. Fear, it leads you down a path of least resistance. Meaning, the person who invoked fear in you made a pseudo, we'll say 3 paths for you to follow. But they know that they made one path is going to be where you don't have to do much because you're in a state of fear. And so that's the path of least resistance. That's the path you want to go down, that you don't want to get all kind of caught up in stuff, and it's easier for you, but really you're damn near like the sheep going to slaughter. Let me make it simple. This is what old Hillary girl tried to use when she ran against Obama. Who do you want to hit the red button when the time comes? And then you got to freeze things, but it didn't work. Tried to get you to fear. And guess what? People that did that little spot, either way, they made money. The other one is greed. You see that a lot of times in your car commercials. Mercedes-Benz. Come down now. Limited time offer. No money down, no money for 6 months. But you may have to put down $600 for whatever. You know, and they say something words and stuff. And then, you know, us guys, we always associate with the car. Fine girls go with it. You know, I ain't gonna lie. But I digress. Anyway, we get caught up with that. You know what I mean? You see that commercial and your defenses is down. And you're like, man, I just got paid my $600 Mercedes-Benz. Oh man, Tanisha going, oh, I can't pay. I'm gonna go get it. You go down there and you're like, yeah. So, nice day. Oh, this is what the car salesman do. In order to get somebody in a light state hypnosis, get them to say yes at least 5 times. It's easy. Just come up and think in your mind. This is where I say I give you the patterns, and you just have to think it out, and you just remember when you need it. You know it's a sunny day. Why? It's a sunny day, isn't it? You're going to have to say yes. Unbeknownst to you, your subconscious mind already opened the gate. Now I got to think 4 more times. Oh, you have a lovely wife, don't you? Yes, man, I'm a lucky guy. Yes, you are, sir. You kick the tires over here. Just look at this over here, sir. Smooth thing. You want to ride around the corner? Sir, I bet you're a hardworking man, aren't you?
Yes. Yeah.
And then before you know it, you said the 5th one. I'm like, yeah, so sign this paper here. You can drive away this car, and you and your wife, you can go down there. I can pay you tickets just to go to Vegas. Get a room, you know what I mean? But buy this car before you know it. You're like, yeah, all right. Yeah. I just gave you a secret. 5 times. Just think of the patterns. I want to give you power words too. Words have powers. Like for once, I told earlier, there's a phrase that is hypnotic. Once upon a time. All right. Words have power, and they do affect you. Brother, you don't mind if I use you again? I want to show you and demonstrate to you. And I'm also going to give you power chance. And you know, stand over here. And now look at me. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to ask you to look at me straight, and I'm just going to have like my hands are going to be like a magnet, and you're just going to fall forward. All right? I know I probably have to do this thing with the mic, but I'm going to put this down, and I'll just speak a little louder. All right? Put my hands down the side. All right? Now, just listen to me, and just look at me. All right? Just keep your eyes fixed on me. And when I move my hand, you're going to just feel like a magnetic feeling that you want to fall forward. I'm not going to let you fall all the way over. I'll catch you. But the key thing is you just focus on my words. You just feel like a magnetic feeling of just falling forward. When I let go, don't force it. Just, just relax. Just relax, but just hear me. And my hands will feel like it's a magnet. My whole body will feel like it's just pulling you forward, pulling you forward, pulling you forward, pulling. All right. Cool. Words you have affected. If you did not see that, I will turn another way. All right. Go this way. Now again, I'm going to speak a little louder. Again, this demonstration is to show you words do have an effect. Your words do have an effect. I'm just going to give you the tools. You already have it now. I just told you. I'm giving you the red pill. You took the red pill when you came in the house.
She said y'all working together.
That was a joke.
Yes, I know we're working together. It's just lying. See you. All right. Now, again, what I'm going to do is stand behind you, and you're going to hear my words. Obviously, you ain't going to see me. You can close your eyes if you want to or not, and you're just going to feel a magnetic feeling falling backwards. Don't try to push or what have you. Just listen to my words, and you just feel that energy. Remember, you went through the 7 laws of vibration. What did I say? Everything vibrates, right? Yeah. Now, again, you just hear my words, and when I let go, you will feel as if you are being pulled back by a magnet. Don't try to force it. Just listen to my words. I'm feeling, my hands are feeling like a magnet. You feel like a magnet. You're just going to fall backwards, fall backwards, fall backwards, fall backwards. Thank you so much for doing that. Very great. All right. Again, you have this power within you. Please write this down. I'm giving you power chants. It's going to build your energy up. All right? You heard me say when I did the demonstration of the circle thing, Omene, pad, me, I should use this to help explain. I need to do the teacher thing. All right.
Phonetically.
Yeah. This chant here lines with the Creator. It's Om Mane Pad Me You're going to say it 7 times, pause, 7 times, pause, 9 times. Here is the ritual that we do. And I just showed you how sound or voice can affect. All right? And that was on a lower demonstration. But this is the ritual that we do. You always face east. Remember, you always hear people talk about, oh, the sun, they worshiping the sun. It's not worshiping the sun. Your ancestors didn't worship the sun. They just gave respect to the Creator. What could be the most noblest image to represent God? The sun. Because it gives life to everything. So you weren't worshiping the sun, but you can do this also. Just when the sun is rising, both your palms up and charge your energy through your palms. You have your chakras. All right? So this is the ritual we do. We stand in the star position when you face east. Your right palm is up. Your left palm down. And you're facing east. If you're symbolic, I know it's in the look at you, big cousin. Symbolically catching the positive sun energy. Remember I told you the key we teach you here is Peru. You're being Peru. You're being the embodiment of the both energies. This is why do you think the Ashkenazis took your science and they call themselves Jews? They only give you 3,500 years of our Hittian history, but I just told you we're about 7,000. So they're missing about 4,000 years or so of history. But they at least kept the elements. Why do you think they have their rituals where you know a lot of them doing some shady stuff? Mm-hmm. I know it because I heard someone with it. And then their ritual is they're doing stuff to cleanse of the negative stuff they did all year. They're working your science. It's time for you to take it back. So, it's done like this. Omine Banmium, Omine Banmium, Omine Banmium, Omine Banmium. Remember, so you 7 times and pause. 7 times again, pause. And then 9 times. And then, of course, your hand, left hand being down so y'all can see, represents the negative energy where you're pulling from the earth. All right? Because remember, you're being the whole harnessing of the whole energy. Or some of you who do study, because I'm not taking it for granted. I know a lot of you have knowledge. You probably read the Emerald Tablets, thoughts, teachings, and you heard of the, was it Maracaba? That's the third dimensional of this. You're being, again, I'm trying to bring it back again. You're Peiru. You're harnessing that energy. This is what a god is. A god doesn't prefer, doesn't dislike or like. They only prefer to be at certain places, but they can hang with people who are Satanists, and they can hang with people who are angels, but they prefer to be somewhere because they're of God. They're of everything. That's your consciousness that you're trying to get back to. The next one is, now again, this chant is for you to align yourself with the Creator. After you've done it for a while, trust, you will feel the effects. Also, get frankincense incense and bless it. Third eye in your temples every night. Do it for a year. All right. Some people it may be too strong, so I would suggest you can get a lighter oil. Maybe an Egyptian musk would be lighter. But that's some people.
When you say blessing, define what you're saying. When you say blessing.
Some people will say do a prayer. But what I am teaching you, I'm giving you the basics. When you're doing these power changes, your energy will be strong. Your aura will be strong. So then you can be able to do this. Oh yeah, anything and everything you eat and you own, you bless it. So, and that's a great question you ask. So, hey, just sit in your hands and maybe even just think of it as positive. Matter of fact, since you said that, I'm going to give you something that they kept sacred in India, and they use this to heal people. Using the pranic energy, you can focus, harnessing the energy in your hands. And when they would give water for sick people, they would literally do what I just told you. They would just focus and just see their energy seep into the drink. They would usually hold it like this, and they would focus. And they would go as if they had water in their hands. They'd go like this, and then the person would drink it, and darn if it will affect them. I just told you words are part of your thoughts, and it does affect them. Y'all just seen the quick demonstration me and the brother just said. All right. So the next chant. This is to align your cosmic energy. This is to align your cosmic energy, and you would say this, I'll say about 5 times. Ra, 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 ma, 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 R-A-A-A, ma, A-A. Ra, 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 ma, 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 R-A-A-A, ma, A-A. Now again, that's just only me. If I was to have all of you participate and do this, I think you would feel the effect. Matter of fact, I think we should do that before the night is up, and we at least do that, and you will feel it. Your ancestors used to say the first chant that I gave you that I just erased, and they would say this when they would assemble. And the energy would be so high, and everybody's so jovial. If some people were sick, they would feel healed. I know it seems weird, and I thank you for just hearing me out. But trust, others are using this science. This is yours. Take it back. You sitting here means you at least took the first step. Please don't look at me as being weird or dude from the Twilight Zone. Please don't look at me like that. Like just go into the Twilight Zone. Now, please. Yeah, man. You know, please take this. I know it seems weird, and I am giving you, some of my students are probably like, man, they getting this stuff, and they getting access to him, because for years I've been giving this. But trust what I am telling you. Very powerful people and higher degree individuals know this. Some of them even came to me to get some of this. This is your science. But we are living, the title of the sister's place, the House of Awakening. I'm trying to open your third eye, my beloved cherubs. And I'm praying if I was a dynamite that I had made an impact and gave you what you needed. And then later on you will see as a cumulative that you keep doing it. Yeah, he was right. Oh yeah, he is right. So again, like I said about the oil, if the frankincense is too strong, get like an Egyptian, get it like a softer oil. Because that was one of the complaints I hear. Somebody say, oh, it's so strong. One student told me, she said, oh my God, I had so many, it was weird dreams, very intense dreams. You're awakening your third eye. There are senses and things that are going around you that once you open, you're like, oh my goodness. But I'm also trying to brace you for this. What I'm telling you about the salt. Just start protecting your home.
You'll see portals in your house too. You'll start seeing portals in your home too.
Yeah, it's a lot of things that's around you. Again, I know sometimes I bring movies up, but I bring that up because a lot of these individuals who write these stories and they're experiencing these things and they're putting it in your face in the movies. And the only people that do see it and understand it is those who open their minds and they're like, oh my God, they put it in the movie. But for the regular folks, they'd be like, and the only way they understand is like, wow, all right, man. Like, for instance, I'll never forget 20 years ago, a Robin Williams movie, what was it?
What dreams may come.
Thank you, I couldn't remember that. The persons that obviously wrote that obviously talked to people and communed with people who actually went to the other side. Darn if the Holy Corbeth does, because this Corbeth means, is Lemurian, all it means is words of the Creator, I meant to tell you. The Creator actually just described its realm. You call it heaven, the Lord calls it Akkad. That's what heaven is. It's actually, the real name is called Akkad. Same thing, the Lord's name is, our ancestors asked, said, what's your name? The Creator said, well, because you want a name and you're humans, all right, my name is Aradia. But guess what the Creator said? I know you call me by other names, and the Lord says, it's all good. But anyway, the way that movie, I haven't seen that movie since, and I love that movie. And I had it on VHS, and somebody took it. I know y'all children probably saying, what is VHS? I'm one of the old people. All right, please, this be put out. I gotta put a lot of stuff on DVDs now. But the people who wrote that actually, obviously, talked to people, community people that did cross over, and was able to come back and tell you this. The building blocks I'm giving you tonight, as you grow, this will also help you if one or some of you are going to probably be into astral travel and will be successful with it and will come back and tell us. But this is the building block. It builds your power. It's no different than if you were saying, I wanted to be a part of the Mr. Universe competition, the muscles and stuff. And then be like, all right, you can't do it now, but you got to plan a good 4 to 5 years you can. And then what? I'm a coach and I can tell you, all right, well, come on, you got to start doing this. You got to eat a certain way, and this is a regimen. You got to do 150 sit-ups, and then have to run you around the clock. You just train, is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? And you will see the difference. Trust me, you will see the difference. This here, again, is to align your cosmic powers. Now, here is the chant that will awaken your third eye. And this here is, again, this is a ritual that all of us magi do before I even walk out of the house. And if I got to do a sermon or whatever, or what have you, I also go through all these chants. It's about a good 6 of them I'm going to get. All right. So this one here opens your third eye. Do a 5. That's wrong. This is so 5 times. Excuse me, all right, this chant here, because remember what the words I'm giving you is affecting your body. What you're ultimately doing is changing your body into a cosmic body. All right? You do this chant, you're focusing here, and as time goes on, you will feel the pressure. Plus what I just told you, the other ritual of you getting an oil and you rubbing it on your temple and your third eye every night before you go to bed. You will see a difference. Heck, you might do like my new student from New York just hit me up and say, yo, I had this wild dream, this dark spirit. I'm like, oh, shoot. So anyway, I don't want to tell that person stuff, but like the sister was saying, when you open your third, you'd be surprised at stuff that's around you. They said when Drew Ali was alive and he'd be walking, you'd be walking with him, he'd move you out the way and say, yo, something walked by. And that person walked by. But the only way you're going to understand it when you open this third eye, there is another world around you. That's why when you were functioning as a magi and people had spiritual problems and what have you, they came to you to help fix it. When they needed rain, you knew how to call rain. When they needed water, you got the science of what they call dowsing, go get a stick, make sure it was in a fork, and you knew how to go and get it and find it. When they needed somebody to be healed, you did it. When they needed a daggone spirit to be exorcised from the house, you know how to get rid of it. Tho, Rama, Tho. So again, you're going to be Tho, Rama, Tho. Tho, Rama, Tho. You're going to say it 5 times. And as time goes on, yes.
At what point?
Here we go. Here.
Yeah.
Peace, brother. At what point during the day do you do this? Do you do this at the same time and as the sun is rising? Or do you do this when the sun's setting?
No, you do it when you get up. You want to do it before you get out the house. You know, like you want to armor yourself up. Same thing, you Moors, when you armor yourself up. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Your fez, you're also your spiritual, what's the name? Same thing with our turban. You know what I mean? It's your way of doing prayer. It's your way of really doing the fortified spiritual, building your spiritual barrier. So it's done every day. You understand what I'm saying? And if you want to do it again, when you come home, you know what I mean? I always say this, before you walk out of the house in the morning, that's your morning prayer. You understand what I'm saying? It augments your spirit. Here's another way also I want you to augment your spirit. This is easy. Please get a lodestone. Please get a lodestone. If not a lodestone, get a magnet. Because also what this does, when I get done with the other ones, and you do all these chants, this augments your charisma. Your personal magnetism energy. Some may know what I'm saying and some don't. Yes, Dr. Nam?
No, I was agreeing.
You know what I mean? So, get a lodestone or a magnet. You want to rub it in your hands. Not a good 5 minutes or so. Even if you don't, no problem. Do it with your hands. It's best to do this after you probably got washed and everything, but you put your clothes on. And then you want to rub your body as though like you put lotion on. Matter of fact, after you do that, yeah, go ahead and do that. If you just got washed and everything, you want to put your lotion on, you got your lotion on, and what this is doing is helping to augment your aura energy. You do what I just said, trust. Within the first week, you will feel the difference. You will feel the difference. Yes,
It's Father Hannibal, are you saying to rub the lodestone? Because the lodestones I have sort of a like shavings that kind of attract. So you're not, yeah. I have lodestone and it has attracting particles. So you're not talking about that kind of rubbing.
Well, you can get the particles off of it because all it is.
Because they magnetize to it. Yeah, they came.
Yeah,
with
I know.
it.
That's what I say. So you can just get that off of it. But if not, that's why I said you just get a magnet. But even if you can't get that, it's all good. Just you rub your hands together now. Matter of fact, everybody do that now. Just rub your hands together now. Just rub. We'll just do it for a little bit. And you'll feel your hands getting warm. All right? Just do it for a little bit. Now, go ahead and just rub your body. And you can do it from head to toe. Make that your ritual. Make it like you're putting your lotion in. Make it your ritual every day. What this does, again, it augments your personal power, your personal magnetism. To make it simple, those honeys who are hot will make you hotter. And some of them guys who know you, Mr. Romeo, will make you even more. You know how they say some people are, they just mad sexy, like, you know, this adds to it. You know what I'm saying? So I knew I'd finally get you. You know what I'm saying? It augments your personal power. And again, like I said, I some may know, you know, may pull some stuff up on YouTube. They know me as Grandmaster Priest. Well, since, you know, I used to do hip hop dance. I was a teacher. I was one of the old cats from one day that I could still get down. And a lot of stuff the babies didn't see. But anyway, I would do some of the rituals that I'm telling you. So when I would go certain places, I would get almost like the Michael Jackson treatment now, because there's some of my colleagues who made it into hip-hop movies back when we were young, and they get paid making appearances here and there, and I would go to different events, and everybody's crowding around, getting their autographs and talking and getting them to dance and stuff. As soon as they see me walk up in the house, yo, that's Grandmaster Priest, and then they see their celebrity lead them to come over to greet me. And then those who would see, like, who's he? And then those like, you ain't never seen Priest dance? Oh my gosh, you know. They loved one of my moves called The Matrix, and I would do a 360 wall move, and I would do it to the movement of the song, and it would just blow their mind. But it would make me laugh because of some of the secrets I am giving you all. I knew it kind of added to the star quality, if you will. So, but yeah, like I said, that's what it does. The power chance I'm giving you, that augments your oxa power. Your oxa power is your own God power. That's what the Creator called it. The Creator said, I've given you a piece of me and all of you. It's just a matter of you unfolding it. Oxa power is AXA. All that is your God power. I'm just helping you to help bring it out. All right? So, again, I'm going to throw this is open your third eye. Trust. You'll know when you wake it up. It's going to be funny. I shouldn't tell you, but I'll tell you. When you wake it up, this is how you're going to find out. You're going to be talking to somebody. You're going to be like, hey, yeah, so how was summer? How was this past summer for you?
Me?
Yeah. You know my baby cousin going, me? Yeah, it was good. Yeah, I know. And you're going to be doing this. Yeah. So what you eat for lunch? You just stay talking, and it's going to feel like a spider web or something crawling on you. I should have told you, I should have let y'all know, but I love to see people grow. But I want y'all to get this because, again, others hold these things. Seems simple the way I'm giving it to you, but people hold these sciences close to the vest. For real, for real. For real, for real. Like I told you earlier, you know, preachers and all, they pay big money to get these basic sciences and they go into the 7 laws. And they utilize it. This is how they put booties in the seats. And what did I tell you got to do to get somebody to suggestion? You got to, how many?
Yes.
5 times.
Yes. And God, yes. He got him, but he would get off the. Can I hear amen? Can I hear no amen? Right? Now, what y'all can do is deep in your pocket. Y'all already gave good $50. And they're like, but not just yet. I want to hear amen again.
Amen.
Say amen, you know what I mean? Say, now, talk to your brothers, right? Just tell them, God loves you. And then what do y'all do? God loves you. Now talk to the one to the right of you. Bless you. Bless you. And you just, and then they hit you again. Now, you can just deep in your pocket. Make sure you get over there and hit that sister and your wife, because I knew she just got paid for the lottery. I love you dying. Yes. Thank you. And y'all going, and this is the real deal that happens. Once y'all leave, ooh, I'm glad them niggas are gone. Woo, get me a new car. And my wife ain't gonna see me for a while. I'm seeing Sister Beatrice was looking really good tonight. I'm gonna get that over watch. I mean that woman watch. They ain't trying to save y'all, but they're using mass hypnosis to get people in the seat and get your money. And then on top of that, they're living off of your Moorish birthright, tax exemption. Didn't mean to make a funny thing out of it, but I want y'all to understand. Other people laughing at you. All right, so Tho, Rama, Tho opens your third eye. And as you do this in time, you will feel the energies in the certain parts of your body. Remember the Omene Padme that lines you up with the Creator. All right? And then Ra, 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 Ma, Ma, Ma. That's the cosmic force energy you're absorbing. This one here, again, is awakening your third eye. Now the next one, all it is basically just Ram. This is to augment your cosmic force. And you can say this about 5 times. And this chant can also be used or said even more. This is one I actually say when I'm doing my prayer walk and I'm walking through the city. All right? So Rama is just Rama, 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 Rama. And in fact, let's see this together. I want you to start to feel this energy. And let's put some energy behind this. And you'll let me know. If it doesn't, all right, just say, hey, man, you didn't trust me, Chris, so shut up. But if you did, just say, hey, all right, I felt it. All right, we all say it together. Rama, 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 Rama. Now, all right, I'm going Anyway, that's your cosmic energy that fills that. Now, here is one that will clean your chakras. La. That's said 5 times. L-A. Just la. La, 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 la. And there was a great artist. Michael Jackson called him the prophet of music. Stevie Wonder made a song. La, 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 la. And they always say we always create beautiful music, healing music. And you always sing in the song, we all clean your chakras. Because again, when you're dealing with negative people or people who may have had a tragedy, know that life forms or life energy can attach to you, mainly your solar plexus. That's another way you feel feeling. If somebody is like really down, you can feel it. You know what I mean? And then by the time they walk away, like, oh man, I'm really feeling down for that brother, what have you. And you just don't understand that there is a psychic cord that is caught to your solar plexus. You have to then remove it. That's what I have been focusing since you all walked in this door, because I know that you have cords that have been dragged, that's attached to you from out there being in the world. I'm trying my best to cram tonight to make sure you be able to defend that off. All right? Rama, and it can be said many a time. Same thing with Omene Padme Hum. That was one that I should have had all y'all say it together. Because our ancestors used to say that, in our sacred lodge meetings or what have you. All right, now here's the next one. This is to open your heart chakra. It kind of sounds like M, but it's M, 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 M. And that's focused basically in your heart chakra. Because remember, that is, and I can see you're a well-seasoned Moor. So I'm pretty sure you can tell me stories on how you done went to certain places and Moors don't feel like they got the love. You know what I mean? Make you feel like Raleigh from Boondocks. Like, that's the love. Well, this chant helps you to augment your heart chakra. Augmenting that is also developing that brotherly love and sisterly affection among us, which we are not functioning. Remember, Raleigh gave you your 5 principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And that's the thing that ticks me off with some of these wars. It's like, you're having battles with other Moors that, are doing good, and yet you claiming you're fighting for good, but you got a problem with it. You're not a real conscious Moor, because you're not even working off your first principle, which is love. And any parent can tell you, love can come in different ways. You want to always give affection, but then also when your child is wayward, don't you also have to discipline them? And that's love too. And the children don't understand it until they get older. When you're about to beat their tail, you say, this is going to hurt me more than hurt you. And yeah.
Someone asked a question, are all chants done facing the east?
Yes, facing the east. If you can, it's great facing the sun, but always face east. Your science is in your face. Look at your coins. Look at your quarter, your dime, your nickel. The faces are facing this way. Look at your penny. That face is facing this way. And it was funny, because us Moors laughed when they had, I think it wasn't the Dead Presidents, it was The Walking Dead or something with Joe Morton and Eddie Griffith and all. And they called themselves breaking the science down and said, yeah, man, put the coins down and said, yeah. And even one of their own turned their back on one of their own. No, he didn't. Lincoln was a Moor. He was a Bill. And y'all say Muslims face east, but really it was Magi's face east. He's facing east. They're facing west. Science is in your face every day. Glad you said that real quick. Pull out your paper monies. Pull out your paper monies. Your ones, your bigger bills, bucket bills. But anyway. Remember I said you do, everything you do is spiritual. You got your 50s, your ones, your hundreds, and whatever. Get your bigger bills and go all the way down to your one. Whenever you're handing your money, all face down. Your hundreds, your 50s, your 20s, 10s, they're face down. So if you're doing a transaction, we're doing a transaction, and you bought something from me, you're handing me the money face down. Now, you got a 5. You got a 5. This is the only money that's handed face up. Lincoln, I just told you, was a Moor. And your 1 was the brother just demonstrated. You notice all the monies got changed, but they didn't touch this. The elder Moors will call it the Modal. I hate nicknames, but this is representing your power. Your seal is on this money. This is you, the Great Seal. Last time this pyramid seal was on the money was in about 1860 something. Please get a book on monies in the history. Then you'll know what I'm saying. Drew Ali was responsible for this. They don't want to tell you that. They wanted to put it on about a good $1,000 bill or so. Yeah, the bills used to go up higher. They just, within our lifetime, they lowered it down to just 100 so they want to control y'all. But they wanted to put it on the higher bills, and Drew Ali said, oh no, I want it on money they can touch every day. Put it on a $1 bill. This is your seal. Hold your dollar bills up. Those who got it, hold your dollar bills up. Put your finger on the eye. Turn it over. Tell me what you see. 7. Say it again. Say it again.
7.
Say it again.
7.
Thank you. When you're handing money to Europeans, you give them with their seal. Remember, I tell you, I'm teaching, that's the gist of what I'm teaching you tonight. Everything you do is spiritual. You hand them money with this seal. If I'm dealing with you or more, I'm handing them with the pyramid seal. It's an energy, it's an intent behind it. We all experienced the having a little food cookouts at the temple or the church. And Dr. Niles would make a mighty great macaroni salad. Then we had Sister Ida. Nobody really liked her. She insisted on making it. They put hers right next to everybody else. Dr. Niles macaroni and cheese. And all of a sudden, everybody eating it. Everybody tore Dr. Niles macaroni and cheese. But when they got Sister Ida's, must understand there's a science and even in your cooking, and there's intent behind it. I'm telling you now something in the realm of the elder sisters will teach their daughters. There's a science behind that. They don't just cook. When they stir to the heart. And the sisters knew, and they learned from the mothers, to put love in the food. It's a little bit off, but these are part of your Moorish history and science I need to give you. That's why I titled, There's More to Being Moorish. Everything you do is spiritual. Trust everyone else is doing it. And you're being kicked in the butt with it. It's not the conversation that's talked about much. And then you have to be a part of sacred societies to get it. I'm going to tell you another reason why, too. Freemasons and Eastern Stars get pissed off at you when y'all call taking on your appellations or whatever, but it's true. Just nationalize it, take it back your family name. That's the way we just say it. And they see that fez on your head or that turban on your head. They get pissed off because guess what? Thank you. Say it again. Let's do the rock star thing here.
They had to pay a lot of money for that.
Ooh, see.
They had to pay a lot of money for that.
See what I'm saying? Yes. You're getting pennies in the dollar, getting your freedom, and you're getting not only your name and nationality, you're getting, I'm telling you, this don't mean much to you, but as time go on, you know me, and I start referencing you to books, and you start trying to get your hands on them books, and they're rare, and they're high. I'm like, damn, yeah. Well, that's the way they feel. Telling you something that they don't want you to know. Look, in order to to get initiated for the first 3 degrees, you got to come up with $300. I should have my beloved cousin come up here because he was just telling me, he was dealing with stuff, but I'm going to save that. And that ain't talking about your monthly dues you're going to have to pay. That's also not telling you about the church entity that slides in. Let's put some money in for the widows and the children fund. I'll say this to any of the brothers and all, I will give you the tools, but know this if you want to touch it, same thing with you sisters. It's a society that you just make sure your money's right before you deal with it. It's not a poor man's organization. That came out of a great man. It was a 96 degree that had coordinated me a 33rd degree, Brother Clifford Hazel L. He's a beautiful brother, and God rest his soul. He let you know straight up, this ain't a poor man's organization, because yeah, that's all they deal with, basically money, but it depends on the group of people you're around who will give you the higher sciences. But yeah, they're pissed off because, again, they're paying money. Now, let me keep going in general. Now you want to go up to the higher degree, so now you got to go into each house. There's only 2 that y'all basically aware of, which is the York and Scottish Rite, but there are other rites. They just didn't want y'all to know. But York Rite is basically Christian. Scottish Rite leads you generally to where you at. And going into the, we'll say the 4th to 1 to 16 degree, whatever, that ritual may cost you $65. And then go to the other degree up to the other, or be another 65. And by the time you get 32nd or so, then now they want to tap you to become a Shriner. Now that's another couple $100. And then when you're able to get to, and you can't want this degree, you got to be blessed upon you. And when you do, please get the book Deadly Deception by Jim Shaw. Deadly Deception by Jim Shaw. So you can hear this, so nobody can just say, "You giving up all the secrets. What's up with him? I just don't really like him. I really don't, like about chocolates and, Let Jim tell you. Jim went all the way from the 1st to 33rd degree in the book. He's going to tell you the ritual. And when they call him forth to become a 33rd, they just give you the summons and you go to D.C. He's right there. All right, I'm here to sign up, and we didn't know when they hit it on him, 5,000.
Jim.
Now, because Europeans really, say it again, Jim Shaw. Now, because they're Europeans, he ain't had the money. But the way Freemasonry functions don't matter if you just met him, he's your brother. He's your brother. He had another brother say, "No, I got you. Go ahead." So I'm telling you, this is the backup in detail what the beloved cherub had said. Yeah, that's the other reason you coming up there. Yeah, I'm sorry, because I'm Moorish American till thing to the hip. Stuff ain't got the fez on right, you just tilt it aside, you got the Timbs and stuff, then you got the hang it down and stuff. Yeah, because I'm sorry. Yeah, what you gonna do with it? I said, "Oh, master." Yeah, man, because you need to go ahead and go somewhere with this stuff. And they're sitting there, all right. They throw the book at you, because they know what a real Moor is. But some of them, when they find that you're high in the knowledge, they come and be your friend because you can help them grow. And in some cases, some of them, you can help them grow into higher degrees. So yeah, humbleness is a great part of this path. Let me finish up. I said La was the next one. Now this one sounds like a funny sentence. This is dealing with your aura. This will expand your aura. Sounds almost like a little sentence. And it sounds like this. To him from a foreign pit. This expands your aura. And the last one I want to give you is going to also expand. So again, to him from a Barnhead, to him from a Barnhead, to him from a Barnhead. And again, your aura, energy, dictates your health. All right? And again, when your energy is positive and very highly vibratory, you can affect sick people who are next to you. All right? So this expands your aura. Now, this one is easy, and you probably heard it. You might laugh a little bit, but your Moorish, that they call us Native Americans, used this when you had your campfires and you went out to war or do something real big, and it went like this. Hoi, 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 he, hoi. And you said that 5 times. So it's hoi, 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 he, hoi, 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 he, hoi, 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 he, hoi. And it expands your aura. All right? So those 2 chants expand your aura. That tool, again, I trust you don't look at me as some crazy person. I just gave you something that's your personal, that you use to augment your power. It may not seem much, but trust me, you just practice it. You'll see the results of it when you're around other individuals. All right, so here's some of the power words I wanted you to have. And then here's the prosperity ritual I want to do. Because I told you everything comes to mind. Here's just a few words of power. The word as, A-S, because, and, naturally, easily, means, powerful, quickly, incredible, yet, here's one you might laugh, abracadabra, and look into my eyes. Now, here's another tool that I said I'm going to give you. There's a training. I don't know if you're ready for that. There's a hypnotic training I usually give to my students, and it's to augment your gaze. I can ask you, but all right, who wants it?
Me.
All right. All right, you're going to have to write this phrase down. But I'm going to give you the instructions when it's done. It takes a month for the training, all right? Once you complete this training, no dogs won't be able to, a barking dog won't be able to look you in your eyes. The people that lie ain't going to be able to look you in your eyes. And you can easily get someone engrossed in your eyes. This is what the hypnotic gaze will do. I gotta look this video up, but there is a guy that was actually proved what other people say, oh, you can't do this with hypnosis, you can't just hypnotize somebody and get them to handle stuff. Well, I got a video, I'm gonna pull it up and then I'm giving it to y'all, and I trust you'll share it so you can see it. This man, 10 years ago, they caught him on Good Morning America. He was robbing people. All the people could remember is them saying, he said, look into my eyes. And they finally caught him on video. And all you can see is the girl at the till. He's got a cash register like this in the other part, and she's a cash register. All you see is her. And she didn't remember it. But this is the first time they were able to capture this guy on film. So I said, well, the person that was behind him had to be his partner, because it ain't no way I'm going to be in line and I'm going to see somebody say, look into my eye. And I'm going to see a person reach over to the till, and I'm behind him, and I got to get him to check out. So I was like, so she had to probably distract the other people, this other person who was with her. Let me show you the video. All right, so again, this is what the hypnotic gaze will do. It takes a month for this training. All right? You're going to, your first week, you're going to say this phrase that I'm going to give you 5 minutes straight, and you're going to not blink. You're going to need a mirror, and you're going to need a timer. And you're going to need a little something to mark between your third eye. Here is the secret. When you're looking at someone, and you ever heard that saying that they looked at me as if they were looking through me? Well, the secret is, I'm not looking at you. I'm looking at the seat behind you. I see you waving, so you obviously feel the effects of my eye, but you're going to be able to do it, cousin. All right. So now, this is also the stare that people like Charles Manson, yeah, he just died too. Individuals who have that dark charisma get people to do stuff for them, giving you this secret. So now, you'll be saying this chant. I'm going to say it to you, and I'll take time for you to read it. But this is what you'll do. This is your ritual. You'll have a little personal mirror, and you'll mark a little dot on your third eye area. That's going to be the area you're going to stare at. And the key thing is you've got to repeat the verse over and over without blinking. As soon as you blink, you got to start all over again. You're going to have to be able to stare 5 minutes without blinking your eyes. And the phrase will be, the power of my mind and will is tremendously strong. My willpower is overwhelming to everybody. No one can resist me. No one will ever attempt to do bad against me or around me. I can instantly mesmerize and charm any person instantly. I'm going to repeat that, but that's going to be the phrase you're going to just repeat over and over and over, and you're going to be staring at your third eye. Now, this is what's going to occur when you do it right. Don't worry, your eye will tear. So it will tear up, and don't worry about it. Your key thing is you want to do this. Trust. When you complete this, you want to see the difference. Matter of fact, I think maybe that's another reason why I grew up good. They get scared, you know. Be like, matter of fact, some individuals said that to my face anyway. Nah, I'm scared to look in your eyes. But trust. You do this, no lie. A dog will sit there, and you turn around, and they go, they won't look you in the eye. No animal won't look in your eyes. Another thing you must understand too with the hypnotic gaze, and this is known chemically, it's a chemical release called oxytocin between mother and daughter, mother and child, and also between master and dog. This is what occurs naturally through a hypnotic gaze. Now, when you get to the second week, now you have to stare 10 minutes straight. Still repeating the verse over and over. As soon as you blink, you have to start over again. The verse is, again, the power of my mind and will is tremendously strong. My willpower is overwhelming to everybody. Nobody can resist me. Nobody will ever attempt to do bad against me or around me. I will repeat it. I will repeat it. Because I can instantly mesmerize and can instantly charm and instantly hypnotize everybody. I'm going to repeat it again. The power of my mind and will are tremendously strong. My willpower is overwhelming to everybody. Nobody can resist me. Nobody will ever attempt to do bad against me or around me. Because I can instantly mesmerize, I can instantly charm, and I can instantly hypnotize everybody. And when you complete the second week, the third week, now you must stare at that dot without blinking for 15 minutes. Once you complete the third week, when you get to the fourth week, which is going to be your completion of your month, you're now having to stare 20 minutes straight without blinking. I'm going to say something to you that a lot of people don't know. Y'all don't. about trying it for an hour. And I done it. I'm giving you your science. It seems like it may not be much, but trust, I am praying that some of you will move on this, you will work it, and you have results, and you'll be so gleeful you can't wait to see me to tell me your results. And I can't wait for the stories. You're like, hey, this is what I used it for. You know, of course I get some guys be like, yo, man, you remember that honey, man? I'm like, yeah. The one that looked like Lisa Ray. Dude! Oh, man. It's so right, man. He was so great. This stuff, man. I looked in her eyes, man. We getting married, man. Stop. So, again, let me start to do a demonstration of, because I told you how the mind power works. I want us to quickly assemble in a circle, and I want to be able to pick a few people who want to stay in the circle, and we want to give love and prosperity. I'm going to give you a quick story while we're assembling to do this. I wasn't going to have it recorded, but I'm going to go ahead and let it record it. I want to give you another gift. When you focus all minds on certain things, you can move mountains. That is not a figurative speech. And I'm trusting to be able to prove this tonight. I am in rare form with this because I'm telling you, I know some of my students out there. They are, what you going to say?
I want to be in a circle.
No problem. No problem. And I'll ask them some others too. I know some of my students are like, oh man, Dr. Hannibal, Kim and this stuff, man. But I love y'all so much, and I just appreciate y'all coming in. We would have had this, I think, last week with the snow and everything. But everything is done for a reason. And I'm just glad to see you come out. So please, as we're talking, please, let's start to make a circle. You can just quickly arrange the chairs or whatever. And we're going to take a few people. Put your hands up, whoever one of you. Right? I know Dr. Nala will be in the circle. All right, cool. All right, cool. All right, good. And then we, some chairs. We're going to put the chairs in the center. Now, we're going to do this. Everybody that's on the outside, we're going to focus love and prosperity to the person in the center. And what we can possibly do, I would like to do this if y'all want to have me back, that we continue to do this and we'll put more people in, if possible. I know everybody's moving things and everything, but is everybody listening to me? No, they're not listening to the man out there. So I'll just sit here and just talk. I want everybody to assemble the chairs. Yes. All right. Yes, everybody just start. All right. Everybody just say, all right, you know what, I'm going to say here. Just be one big circle if we can. If we want, you can be a couple more people if you want. I really want, because it would be great that next time we meet, that we can ask, we have more people to tell us some things happen. Now, I was partly telling the story earlier and how I last did this ritual, and that there was a brother who volunteered to be in the center, and he wound up benefiting from it. And he was able to get a building and what have you, and a new job. And it was funny because when he sat in the center, we're going to make a good, better circle here.
Yeah,
if we can, because this is bad. I don't know about y'all geometry and stuff, you know what I mean? Y'all just like really bad. It's just really bad, you know. Come over here, spread it out, make a circle, y'all. You don't have to come in tight. Just make a circle if you can. You know what I mean? Have some love. I ain't feel some love here, people. Yeah, there you go.
You got to bring in a couple more right there.
Yeah, come on, babies. Come on, cherubs. Come on up. Yeah, move the chair. There we go. There we go. All right. And when I explained it, the gentleman, we did this at Roundtable back in 2002. And the gentleman wound up getting a decent job and getting a building. And it was funny because we had one gentleman that was coming from here, this state, and he came all the way up, and we didn't know him. And he was a carpenter. And he said, everybody was like, wow, that really happened to you, brother? Yeah. He said, you know how they do things in church one hand, and you know, everybody talking. He said, I like to confess something. He said, I'm a carpenter by trade. He said, I hadn't had work in a while. And he said, I kind of cheated. He said, so since y'all was giving the energy to the brother in the center, he said, I kept touching him and stuff. And then the brother said, you know what, I felt somebody touching me, and I kept going like this. So the brother said, so I cheated. He said, so I just wanted to get some of that energy. He said, because he was a carpenter, and he hadn't had work for a good 6 to 9 months. He said, well, it must have worked, because he said, I got so much work, he almost didn't make it to round table, but he wanted to give his testimony. So all I'm saying to you, this is what churches, mosques, synagogues, and temples is basically for. The Creator said, you want to use your energy, fellowship in 3s, 6, 9s, 12s, 24. The more, the better. If we focus on one thing, all minds focusing on it, literally you can move mountains. And I want to give this to you. And if we do this right, if possibly we all assemble again, if y'all want to have me back, I want to keep doing it, keep changing and put more people. Maybe we might do another one before we leave, and another group of people. And I want y'all to be able to experience this. All right. So now, the key focus is this: the way it's done. As time goes on, there's a lot of literature that I will be giving you that is sacred work. I'm talking about the fact of the thing being filmed.
Take the mic with you.
Yeah, I know, right?
Here you go.
Here we go. Yeah. This is the actual manual that's going to go in more detail with it. It was actually a figure that everybody would focus on. And this was a worldwide situation where other people was in contact with this professor that tapped into this knowledge. And he had tens of thousands of people from all over focusing. And their lives were changing. But here's the other part that I talked about earlier. When good things happen to you, you control the negative backlash. As soon as you get the blessing, you what? You go out and you make a blessing. Even if you just go and see a homeless person, go buy a little thing of shrimp fried rice or something, you at least put back into the universe. And guess what it does? And it continues to make the blessing comes to you. All right, so the key thing is everyone focus on love and prosperity. All right, love and prosperity energy. We're going to see, matter of fact, let's get names.
Luna.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, Luna Bey.
All right. Yeah.
Jamila Bey.
Jamila Bey, beautiful name.
Strong man Anthony Davis.
Strong man Anthony. Oh, right on, man. All right. And Dr. Nana.
Inanna Naila Gilliam L.
All right, cool, because you got your thing. All right. We want to focus on giving positive energy and love to these brothers and sisters. We want to see and project to them. And you might close your eyes, it'll help you. We want to project to them just this happiness energy. Now, what you're going to do is keep your minds blank and just feel the energy. And then it's going to be a time frame that I'm going to tell you. Then in your mind, you see yourself what you want first, and see it as you're doing it. You understand what I'm saying? See yourself as you're doing it. All right? And then we're going to have it for 15 minutes. So it's going to be 5 minutes. We're focusing, giving me energy. Then the next 5 minutes, y'all will then see yourselves doing what it is you want. And then for the next 5 minutes again, you go blank and you just absorb the energy. So everyone, focus on prosperity and love. You can close your eyes to minimize this sensory energy and just relax and focus on the 4 brothers and sisters is here in the center. And just see them with love and prosperity. Love and prosperity. Please be good, because see, it's also a blessing for you. Yeah. All right? Because when you give love, trust the universe brings it back to you. And I know you young cherubs, you're participating in this, guess what? It's going to come to you because your karma is more clearer than ours. You don't have bad sin like we do. So, just focus. Positivity prosperity. You four in the center, just keep your minds blank. Just absorb the energy. Just absorb the energy. And just focus on just keeping the blank mind. You all just focus. And if you want to give a color, color to the energy of love, it's actually pink. If you want to see it flowing from your third mind, your third eye, to the brother and sister, it's pink. Just continue to see that. Focus. We just see them being happy. No matter whatever it is, we just see them being happy. Again, this science is being used when you do go into the house of the Lord, whether it's church, mosque, or synagogue. This is really what fellowshipping is. The reverends, rabbis, they're using your energy for their own personal goal. But now you're taking that power back. Just focus. Love. Just being seen and being bombarded with love and prosperity. Love and prosperity. Love and prosperity. Love and prosperity. Just focus. More joy you wish upon someone else, the universe will bless you. Just focus. Feel the joy and the love in your hearts. Feel it going out, whether it's from your heart or your third eye. Feel it surrounding the four cherubs in the center. See them being joyous and happy. Great health, prosperity, love, everything just comes together for them. Feel that love from your hearts. Remember, when you give love, love comes back to you. God is love. You're a part of God, and you are love. Everyone is an extension of you. In love and prosperity, just see it. See it surrounding the pink energy of love. We don't know whatever is going wrong in their life. We don't know. All we know is we have the power now, the unison of all of us, to dispel that. And it doesn't exist. It's an illusion. It's being dispelled. It doesn't exist. Their life is now being replaced with positivity, which is love and prosperity. They're being happy. This is their old saying, I want for my brother what I want for myself. Love and prosperity. Love and prosperity. Now, the four cherubs who are in the center, you will now go into the mode of seeing yourself however you want in your joy, in your prosperity. See it. You can either see it as a movie on a big screen, or you see yourself actually doing. Not as a third person, but your actual self. Whatever action you're doing, you're happy. It is as though it is great synchronicity. Everything just aligned itself. Everything just turned out just the way you wanted it. You don't have to tell anyone else. It's your joy, your blessing. You have absorbed that energy and you still feel it being sent to you. Now universal love and prosperity that was given to you by way of your brothers and sisters here. See it. Feel it. Feel that joy. Feel that joy of you getting what you really want. Go ahead if you want to smile. Have a smile on your face. Feel it. Feel that joy. Feel it. Feel that love. Feel that happiness that you were trying to achieve. Because the mind makes everything. Remember, the mind redeem yourself.